Hello and welcome to Plomeek Teatime number 60. And this particular live stream is dedicated to the memory of Gary Graham and everything he's done for us. We've lost him, and I want to focus on what he's accomplished. Even though I met him briefly at a convention, I don't actually know him. But I appreciate what I've seen him do, and I want to recognize his achievements. And if anyone here on the panel or the chat knew him or met him or interacted with him in some way, tell us about it today. I'd like to learn anything I can because he's really great. But before I talk about the time I met him, I'm gonna read a bit from someone who actually did know him. His ex-wife Susan was the one who made the announcement mentioning his daughter Haley. And the surviving family are always the ones that have it the hardest and grieve the most. So my heart goes out to his family and his close friends. Susan said she met Gary when she was 20, when he was on Alien Nation. So I never. Oh goodness. Thank you.
You're gonna read?
Said, yeah, I was gonna read.
Well,
that isn't me. I can't read.
Come on, we're paying tribute. Be serious.
I'm trying to read.
Yeah, she mentions he was on movies like All the Right Moves with Tom Cruise. I haven't seen that movie, so now I have to watch that. So this is now I'm going to be adding a lot of things to my watch list now. And she said that Gary was funny, sarcastic, had a sarcastic sense of humor, but kind, fought for what he believed in, and was a devout Christian and proud of his daughter Haley. And so if anybody wants to talk about any of his roles that you really liked him in, that you want to talk about, please share with us your favorites and why. When I first put up this live stream, I got an early message from a subscriber and a friend, and I know that by the time I went live, this message was going to be eaten by YouTube, and it has. Oh. So I'll read it now. Thank you goes out to Tokyo Gaijin for sending me this. The time difference will keep me away from the stream. This was a painful sting. Rest in peace, Gary. Thank you for honoring him, Jill. Have a great stream. And
Agreed.
that's all I hope to do is honor Gary because he was really, really wonderful. As I said, I did get the chance to meet him at a Star Trek convention. And it wasn't just the autograph or photo op. It was 2016. It was the 50th anniversary of Star Trek in Las Vegas. I was somehow invited to a little party someone was having in their hotel suite. So I went because it sounded fun, and it was. And that's when I say that Gary was just cool because he'd just hang around with us fans, and he was just having a good time. And I think I said something derogatory about Star Wars. I forget what it was. And he said he loves Star Wars and Star Trek equally. And he sat with us and I think I didn't recognize him at first until someone said something about our favorite Vulcan. And then I realized what was happening. So, and we didn't even talk about Star Trek. I asked him about his flight, and we ended up talking about home budgeting, and like Dave Ramsey, that guy with the radio show, talks about saving money.
Yeah, no,
you probably don't, but he did, and we talked about him for a little bit. I don't remember after that what we talked about. Everyone else joined the conversation by then. But as a bookend during the convention, of course, I got to see all of his cool musical bits because he was of course in his band, the Sons of Kirk, which that name of that band always makes me smile because yes, there are Sons of Kirk out there playing music, and so he did all the different music bits while the moderate panels were going on. But as a book into the convention, we were just in the vendor hall, where they sell a bunch of stuff and the actors hang out. And I found my husband and my son hanging out with Gary. And that's how I got this picture. So I have a picture. Where is it?
See, and the best part is if you need a citation, the citation is Jill.
Oh.
Who took this photo?
I did. That's why it's blurry.
Oh, no, it's lovely.
I know it is. And so that's my son. Someone had given him, because there was a giant Enterprise balloon, and then there were some smaller ones. And so he got that one for free. And so I'm glad I have that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Very cool.
And yeah, so, and I'd like to thank the panel we had today. No, the Academy. Scotty R37, Deej, and Jim, Commander Boone, for being here today.
Commodore
Boone. Hell yeah.
Come on, Jill.
Yeah.
Come on the door.
Yeah, Franco Walker says, rest in peace, Gary Graham. And so does Raymond from King Dolphin TV. Apex Comics says, oh no, Gary Graham died? I liked him in Alien Nation TV series back in 1989.
Now, I'm curious, that's a Canadian production as well, I think. We were talking about Forever Night just before the stream started, but Alien Nation is also, I thought it was a Canadian production.
Did you watch Alien Nation?
Yeah.
I'd never seen it, but it seems really interesting in terms of one of the threads that I'm noticing with Gary, because I watched a couple of interviews, is that he likes to bring subtlety into his acting. He doesn't like to just play it like surface level. There's always something underneath anything he performs. So apparently he did that in this show too, but I haven't seen it yet.
Well, it's if you want to get into the Alien Nation sort of world, I would recommend the film, where the character of Sam Francisco is played by Mandy Patinkin, and his partner is James Caan. Yeah, it's a really good movie. Well, maybe really good is pushing it, but I enjoy it. And this is not Gary Graham in the television show.
Oh, this is a movie.
That's the movie. But in the television show, Sam Francisco is played, I think, by Gary Graham. Or maybe not. Maybe Gary
Graham is Sykes.
Okay, Gary Graham is Sykes. Okay.
And don't ask what Sykes means in Tanktonese.
Oh my God, you know so much more about Alien Nation than I do.
Well, I grew up with it, and I watched the hell out of it over and over. And basically, in Tanktonese, the word Sykes means ship.
Oh my!
So they would laugh all the time in the early episodes about when you'd be introduced to other Tanktonese.
Oh right, that's okay. Now I remember. Who plays Sam Francisco?
It said there. Eric Pierpoint.
Oh, nice.
Eric,
I can't believe I mixed them up.
Pierpoint. Well, what was your favorite aspect of Gary in this show? I haven't seen it yet, so.
Obviously, my memory is clouded, so.
No surprise.
Hey, hello to Classic Comics.
Hey, Classic, what's up?
And
hello?
Ari Bavel says, what's up, Plus C Nation? Also, hello to Franco Walker, Canadian Spider-Man. I only had enough coffee for half a cup. Do you have any spare beans? Oh, no. It's not enough coffee.
Hang on a second. I don't mean to interrupt the chat, but I'm just curious. Is that lady on the left-hand side, is that Jenna DeSora from Data's girlfriend?
No, it's Michelle Sacrabelli.
Is it a different actress? I thought she was on the show. See, my memory is so cloudy.
It was in
that is Jenna DeSoy.
Yeah, she was in Star Trek.
Cool. Just wanted to check. Sorry for interrupting the chat. Anyway, moving on.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to move it to Gary picture.
Gary Graham, yeah. Well,
Lesson,
did you? Sorry.
What?
I was going to talk about Robot Jocks, but
I want to say hello to Lassana K. He says, "Rest in peace to Gary." And yes, you may talk about Robot Jocks. I'll bring that up.
Lassana K. It's good to see you.
Just saying, Jill, you need to watch the TV series Alien Nation.
I agree. I want to
watch the movies.
All of this
they had a couple of follow-up movies, TV movies they did to try to round out the story.
Mm-hmm.
How do I spell it? Is it all
Jox?
Oh.
Yeah. There it is. This is a fantastic film.
Oh, I don't want to play the trailer. Oops.
Oh, you should. If I wish you wouldn't get copyright struck for it because it is glorious.
Yeah, see, I can't play any of this stuff.
Okay, then don't. But it's a great movie about giant robots fighting.
Oh.
There's it's actually if I remember correctly, like this is 1989, so it was on the cusp of the end of the Cold War. And so it's like North America versus Russia, and everybody has, like, instead of missiles and whatnot, they battle on an arena field of sorts with these giant mechs, and it's so cheesily delicious. Like it's low budget, but it still feels real. I like it. I like it a lot. It's a cartoon.
It's a cartoon. Hey, that would make me watch it. Hearing that.
But I like him way better in this than I did in Alien Nation. And you know what? 90% of that is because of the haircut.
Really?
But yeah.
Fun.
His name is, his call sign is Achilles, which is great because there's one guy that he fights through the entire movie. He just keeps yelling, Achilles! It's almost like Akira, it's just a glorious bellowing of an antagonist's name, or a protagonist in this case. But he's Achilles. It's great.
Man, I should have gotten clips. Anyway.
Well, I just told you about it just now.
I know. Gorilla says, Kapla, Jill. Hope your brain recovered from last night. Yeah, well, Gorilla's random thoughts made me watch a terrible Siffy movie called Mega Quake 20.0. Yeah, Siffy. Siffy used to be sci-fi. It used to be a sci-fi channel, but then they changed the spelling to SYFY. And so it's Siffy.
So you call it Siffy derogatorily?
Because that's how it's spelled, and that's how you pronounce it.
Do you call it Walmart? Because you need two L's to make the long A.
Well, in that case, it's like somebody's name. This is just it's supposed to be abbreviations, and they changed it to not actually be what it stands for, so that they could put wrestling and reality TV on it, because it's not quite sci-fi. It's Siffy.
Oh, what's that? In Canada, we have the Sci-Fi channel as well, but it's called CTV Sci-Fi. SCI-FI. But they play Castle like all the time, and it's like, this isn't even remotely sci-fi.
Yeah, that has been an issue. Okay, let me see. Yeah, that is the problem with that channel for me. And when they do play some sci-fi, it's that kind of stuff.
Like, I can forgive the Ghost Whisperer somewhat, because at least it's paranormal. But it's like, come on, guys. Castle?
Mr. Miles is here. Rest in peace, Soval. Shran will miss you. And so we will be talking about an episode which features both of them in an amazing scene together.
Though Enterprise was not the first Star Trek series that he was in.
That's true. That's true. It's not the first time we've seen him. I'm so glad that we're not just stuck with remembering Gary Graham from Star Trek as being an Ocampan.
You hate Ocampans. You're a racist.
I know
it. Yeah. Yes.
Oh my.
It's true. I can't lie.
You're a Kazon, for the love of Pete.
I know it. She is Kazon.
Well, no, I have my own replicator. I don't need to steal any, so I'm not a Kazon. Kazon are stupid.
All right, then
and they have ugly hair. I kind of don't like a lot of Voyager aliens.
But the Ocampa, they are the perpetual victims of Star Trek. Like, and everybody's okay with them being lost kittens that the rest of the galaxy has to take care of. The entire name of the pilot episode of Voyager was Caretaker because Ocampans are incompetent.
Well, that's the whole problem with the Ocampans is that they need to learn how to live again. It would be the kind of thing where Kirk would be like, well, okay, we'll send you some people to come help you figure out how to rebuild, but you're going to have to get on your own feet and figure this living thing out on your own.
That's interesting.
Mostly, right? Like you give them a helping hand, but then slowly back off and let them do their own thing. It'll be tough, but they got to learn. And then they'll be more powerful because they actually did have some kind of power and stuff that was suppressed because of the caretaker doing everything for them.
Well, that's an interesting sort of perception of Captain Kirk in terms of some people say he violates the Prime Directive, and the way that you're presenting it is, well, we're not coming back here for a while until you're ready, but how about you go in this direction, says Kirk. And then they go and they do stuff, and then second contact isn't for, decades.
Gavin Blackburn says,
well, no, I want to can I just finish that thought?
Oh sure.
No, it just popped. No, I don't mean to interrupt the chat, but it's one of the things that even Khan says. Admiral Kirk never bothered to come back and check on our progress. And it's like, yeah, because you weren't ready. We didn't hear anything from you. We would have come back when you were it's a prison. I'm sorry, we didn't come and check up. You said you were the greatest person in the world who could tame a world. And we figured you would send us a signal when you were ready. We gave you technology.
Or a distress signal. Hey, the planet got fucked up.
Anything. If you wanted us to come check on us or check on you, you should have called. But you didn't call, which meant you weren't ready, which meant great. You had the opportunity that you requested. And you failed. So eat a bag of dicks, Khan.
There were communication issues on both sides for that one.
Yeah, well, I think that Khan was wrong. Go figure. Killed Spock, yo.
Well, yeah, that was wrong. Well, several times his people told him, hey, we can just leave. We got the Genesis device. We got everything we need. Let's just go.
Yep.
But nope, he had to have Kirk.
Oh, across perdition's flames before I give him up.
Gavin Blackburn says Robot Jocks is a fun film, and he was great in Alien Nation.
Agreed.
And Agent DBK says, I first saw him in Hardcore, the George C. Scott film. Mark Alimo was also in it. Oh, wow. Okay.
Nice. I love George C. Scott films, so I'm going to write this one down with a pen.
Mm-hmm.
He discovered it's out of ink.
Loved him in everything, especially Alien Nation and Star Trek. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, okay, cool. I didn't realize Gary Graham worked with Gul Dukat. Really neat.
Mm-hmm. What instrument was he a bass player or a guitar player? Like, I know bass is a guitar, but I'm just saying.
Guitar?
Yeah, like rhythm.
Let's look it up.
Let's, or should I?
No, I got it right here.
Okay. I'm just curious about what sort of musical instrument he played, because I do want to highlight his musical career, like the Sons of Kirk. I wish we could play any of his music, but he will copyright strike us from beyond the grave. No.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's happened to me.
There you go. See?
We're a Star Trek themed rock band fronted by sci-fi actor Gary Graham, so he's the frontman.
Does he sing?
Oh.
I've never had the pleasure. I've heard about this. This is legendary when it comes to Gary Graham, but I've never actually seen Gary Graham perform with the Sons of Kirk.
Well, they're supposed to be releasing video already in post-production. There was a second one that was in pre-production that won't get finished now unless but
Agent DBK seems to know.
Production for what? What are you talking about? Are you talking about
Sons of Kirk?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Agent DBK in the chat says Graham was a guitarist and songwriter. Last Son of K asks, Agent DBK, wasn't he also a Section 31 officer on Enterprise as well? Trying to recruit Malcolm? I forget that actor. If that is the same guy as San Francisco, I'm really impressed, guys. I love the learning.
Who was?
Co-star of Gary Graham in Alien Nation.
Oh yeah, he was the co-star from Alien Nation. Was also in Star Trek.
Right.
So
excellent.
Those are some good questions.
Scientists, every one of you. So I'll star that and then undo this. There we are. It's amazing, and one of the things that I like to do when a person that I've never met passes is I'm just so grateful for the art that they left behind, just to be able to. Yes, Scotty 3 of 7. Thank you, Gavin, for noticing. Yeah, I did. I got a friend to. No, wait, I'm talking about Gary, and then we can talk about my stupid avatar in a moment. But I'm just so happy that Gary gave me the art that he gave me from Robot Jocks and my misremembering of Alien Nation, but especially of Soval. Like and he's an actor that when I first encountered him, I was like, I don't like you. And then
because that's how his character was presented, as being adversarial towards Jonathan Archer.
But as I explored his career, no, I mean like when I first encountered Gary Graham.
Oh, really? Just Gary Graham before Enterprise?
Before Enterprise. I didn't enjoy his presence as a performer, but as his career went on, I was like, you know what? You're really, really good. And so I stopped being annoyed and just wondered about my own taste. And so my taste sort of developed with my appreciation of Gary Graham. So I started to be like, oh, you're in that? That's amazing. You're in that? Sweet. So whenever he showed up, it was like there's a Netflix documentary, I think, called Oh, It's That Guy. And so when Gary Graham started showing up, and I was like, I know you. You're fun. And so I did appreciate him. And then it wasn't until my second viewing of Enterprise that I really was just like, yeah, Gary Graham he's solid. Love him. And so I do appreciate everything that he was able to give to me. And that, that includes, Star Trek, Robot Jocks, his awareness, like my awareness of his band. Like he touched many people. Obviously he did the Axanar thing, which
he did Renegades too.
There you go. See?
Yeah,
very involved with the fans, and I liked that about him as well.
Well, yeah, he didn't put himself behind, like, he just hung out with us. He was just out there. He didn't I don't know what it was, but he just wanted to be there for us, and he was. And yeah, he was in the prelude to Axanar, and then he also did a really neat scene on planet Vulcan that was supposed to be for Axanar. And that was really well done.
One of the few things that you actually get.
A couple of what?
He did a couple of the Star Trek Renegades.
Oh, right. The fan. Well, yes, the fan film. So that's what I mean. He's there for the fans.
Axonar is supposed to be a fan film as well. Unfortunately,
It
there's
is.
been.
Yeah,
yes.
sure was.
Hmm. And I want to say hello to Suzanne Eckstein
Oh,
and Matt G.
no. Gary Graham wasn't in Deep Space Nine, was he?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Just Voyager and Enterprise. Then the fan films.
NB Geek says Alien Nation was so good. Great buddy cop show. Glad we got the TV movies to wrap up the only season we got. It's one of the top 60 shows canceled too soon by TV Guide in 2013.
That's actually, wow. Heavens.
That's some trivia from NB Geek. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last character was George Sam Francisco. It was Matt Sykes who started calling him Sam because he found it too funny and refused to keep calling him George Francisco.
Yes.
That's cute. That's really cute.
Uh-oh.
Robot Jocks. I'm going to get in this thing and I'm going to kick your ass. Love that movie.
Yeah. JOX.
Hello, Brogu.
Brogu.
Mm-hmm. Since we're talking about sci-fi series, is anyone here a fan of Mass Effect? Says Mr. Miles.
Oh, I don't know if Gary Graham did any voiceover work, but Mass Effect, I tried to play it. I'm just no good at video games. That's why I play Fallout. It's because of VATS.
Gary Graham was considered for Cisco on Deep Space Nine, says Agent DBK, and was one of only 2 men considered for the lead on Voyager, right? Because they definitely wanted a female captain for that series. That was never going to happen. But that is interesting. He read for Cisco.
Poopus.
Hello. Snort a poopus.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying they're competent?
I am saying they're competent. Yes.
That's a great descriptor for them for sure.
Yeah. What's wrong with you? Oh, don't mind me. I'm competent.
Mm-hmm.
All right, which are worse though? Ocampas or Packlets?
Packlets are worse.
Of course, Packlets are worse. They're just
Con-shaming?
irritating.
Well, no, con-shaming. Kirk con-shamed. I'm laughing at the superior intellect. Come on.
You keep missing the target.
So yeah, that's con-shaming, and I'm happy to be a member of the group that supports the shaming of con. Unlike Scott and Dean, says Last Son of a K, Sykes and Francisco never had scenes together on Enterprise. Shame.
Mm-hmm.
Scott and Dean being Scott Bakula and Dean Stockwell from Quantum Leap.
DBK wants to warn you, hardcore subject matter is pretty dark.
Is that the one, and I'm curious about it because it is a George C. Scott movie, is that the one about underage snuff films and he sees the film and he's like covering his face and he's like, turn it off. Like it's kind of like 8mm, but worse. That's what I understand that you're describing. Because I'm aware of some dark subject matter George C. Scott films, and I'm wondering if I've picked the correct one, Agent DBK.
If you've ever seen the commercials for attorney Mark E. Salomon, he replaced Robert Vaughn as a spokesperson. Interesting. Okay. No, I didn't. That is an interesting question. What commercial work did he do?
Well, Graham was also, says Agent DBK, in an episode of 7 Days, which is coincidentally the series where our friend Cameron Pasha got his foot in the Hollywood door.
Oh, that is quite a coincidence.
Indeed.
I watched a few minutes of TJ Hooker episode last night with Gary Graham. It was just the car chase scene, so I don't know anything about the story that led to that car chase. But William Shatner chasing Gary Graham in a car.
Gary was
to see.
Gary was in an episode of Remington Steele, Moonlighting.
Walker,
Hunter.
Texas Ranger.
There you go.
Knots Landing.
He was in an episode of Knots Landing. Big shout out to Todd Michael.
Yes, that's why I said it.
He was
Starsky
in the
and
Dirty
Hutch.
Dozen movie.
TV movie. Come on.
Well, it's still Dirty Dozen.
It does,
TV
yeah.
movie, but
I want to welcome Snortopoopus Cuber and Lemon Pie, as well as Daniel's Hot Topics.
and the Dukes of Hazzard too.
Who's talking
wow.
And Hollywood Nights and the Incredible Hulk.
Well, most importantly, he played a detective in the Shaquille O'Neal DC film Steel.
MB Geeks says he was on Mantis for 9 episodes. Really?
Wow.
Another good show gone too soon. Well, that's a lot
Mantis.
of episodes to be on.
I remember flipping through Mantis, but I don't think I've ever actually seen
Because,
an episode of Mantis.
but 9 episodes is a lot. That's a recurring character. He was on 12 episodes of Enterprise, so 9 is pretty good.
It's a Sam Raimi show. Sam Raimi and Sam Hamm, writer of the original 1989 Batman.
There's
movie.
your answer.
There it. Where
Would you
is
like
it?
to read this?
The film Hardcore, says Agent DBK, is about a Calvinist, played by George C. Scott, whose daughter disappears and turns up in a prawn film. Sorry, I edited for Jill's sake. Yes, it's the Turn It Off scene film. I've never seen it, but I'm glad I have it written down now. The subject of the snuff does come up. Thank you, Agent DBK. I appreciate that. It is something, and I agreed. It's not for the, like, it's a movie that I've been afraid of, but I've never known which Turn It Off scene it was.
That
So,
definitely sounds dark. for
I
sure.
am going to have to check that out and then tell everybody about it in a lighthearted way.
Yeah, you are good at that.
And then you won't believe it. This dad, he watches his child get. Never mind.
Yo, no, see, that doesn't work actually. Anyway, Daniel's Hot Topic says it was a shock when I found out that Gary Graham died. Yeah, me too. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it.
73.
It was really sad to hear. Last thing I saw him in was Star Trek Renegades in 2014 and then Axner. Mhm. And
What? You know, I hate to quote Dr. McCoy, but you know, if we remember him, he's never really gone.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he's dead, Jim.
No, come on. I'm not that. Well, yes, I am, but not.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
But what, yeah, right, exactly. And that's the point of today, is to remember him.
Mm-hmm.
And like Kronos is here.
Hey, Kronos.
It's been a long road. And so that is a segue into talking about what I know Gary from the most is obviously from Star Trek as Ambassador Soval. And so we're looking at the 3 episodes. We could talk about this in any order you like. We don't have to be in sync with the slides or anything.
Romulans.
Yeah. Yeah, so get right to the end right away. Romulans show up, even though, I mean, the implications
Okay.
of that being, why is Spock so shocked to see Romulans look like him? They've been around.
But
They're
they've
not supposed to have
secrecy.
been around.
Secrecy.
Okay.
Hey,
So
Commodore Boone is back. Were we putting him? We bringing him back into the pool?
oh yeah, sure.
Cool.
I didn't.
I'm gonna go take a step away for a moment, but I would like to comment on the absolute beauty of this opening shot of Vulcan.
Yes, it's gorgeous. This episode was first released on November 19th, 2004. It was written by Judith Reeves Stevens and Garfield Reeves Stevens, who wrote Star Trek novels before, and it was directed by Michael Grossman. And who also directed some episodes of Firefly. And so the first thing we see here is it answers a question that you've probably been wondering for a while about Earth, since we don't have the Federation yet, what is the actual Earth government? So is this the first episode where we say the United Earth? The United Earth government. And so that's possibly it. And this is the teaser where the only word in it is Surak. And so if you're a Star Trek fan, that's all you need for a teaser.
Yep.
But if you haven't seen TOS and this series is your intro into Trek, it won't mean anything to you.
Oh, you were supposed to go back because it's been a long road getting from there to here.
Mm-hmm. Well, you did it for me, so thank you. You covered it. Kronos says Graham was an awesome Vulcan. He was,
Yes,
and
he
the reason why is very clear when you listen to interviews with him is because he's honest. He's an honest actor. When he doesn't know something, he'll ask about it. And so he learned all the whole history of Vulcans because all he had to do was ask. Rick Berman told him, and he knew what he was supposed to be doing. That Vulcans do have strong emotions that they suppress, and that's how he plays it, and it works. Daniel's Hot Topic says Romulans is how I would pronounce. Oh, Rombulans is how I would pronounce it when I was a kid in the 90s. That's cute, Daniel.
Uh-oh. I'm supposed to get tossed out the airlock.
What? Why?
Uh-oh.
Oh, because he was singing the Enterprise theme song.
Well, just singing in general.
I don't know. I thought it was fun. It was a good time for me, anyway. I enjoyed it.
I know Kronos did too.
Mm-hmm.
Not you, DJ Play Nice, me.
So, Surak, of course, as he says in The Savage Curtain, is the greatest of all who ever lived on our planet, Captain. The father of all we become. So, the father of current Vulcan culture and philosophy. But this is one of the retcon. Like, I really love these 3 episodes. They're really cool. They're really great at reconciling the problem of the Vulcans as they were in the 22nd century and how they're supposed to be by the time we get to Spock and all of the other Vulcans and TNG and Tuvok and everybody. But the problem with retconning Earth's knowledge of Surak this early is that Kirk is a voracious reader. He learned stuff. He would have learned this history, so he would have known who Surak was when he shows up in the Savage Curtain. But Kirk's like, "Who's that?" So it's just things like that. It's a little bit silly, but this is a good start to this episode. It's Admiral Forrest. See, I didn't do a whole complete review of this entire series, but Admiral Forrest is a recurring character who's been in this series the whole time. And this is the last time. I don't know if it's the last time we see him, but it's the last time he's alive.
Yeah, he gets blown up.
Yeah, he gets blown up. They're gonna blame it on some renegade Vulcan faction, but it's really more complicated than that. It was really the High Command all along. Because I'm not keeping anything secret here. It's an old trope where a life saved changes an outlook, but it works here because that's what Soval's character has been building to for a while, and apparently Gary says that that's something that he wanted to do is make that flip. And so he did. And so I just have so we don't know. Soval says, we don't know what to do about humans. Of all the species we've made contact with, yours is the only one we can't define. You have the arrogance of Andorians, the stubborn pride of Tellarites. One moment you are driven by your emotions as Klingons, and Klingons, and the next you confound us by suddenly embracing logic. So he's explaining why Vulcans are trepidatious about humans, and well, the way that Vulcans treat humans in Enterprise is really strange. They treat them like their parents, and that they want humans to be more like Vulcan before they really let them do anything. And so this episode deals with all of that. Everything Enterprise has been, it's
Mhm.
dealing with it in these 3 episodes. We can't listen to Deej if he's in the vacuum. Oh no, there's a bomb.
Ooh.
Unless it's
I didn't do
SUV,
it.
where sound travels in a vacuum.
Yeah, I'm sonar on Discovery Ding, and
Sonar.
I can still do sound in space.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're not in that universe today. You can sing all you like in space on your there in that series.
That's a heck of a bomb right there.
Mhm.
Man.
Blocks can shoot hoops. Yeah, that's right. Blocks is just casually amazing at basketball. He's just standing there. The ball comes to him and he makes a shot wherever he's standing. So that's why they trade him. One team will have him and then the other one does. It was a cute scene. Mm.
Penny Lane is in my... No, never mind. Penny's in the chat.
I bet you.
Oh,
Dee Dee-
hello,
bet
Penny.
you- I
Hey,
bet
she
you.
just got from the store. You bet what?
I'm never going to be asked back to a Jill stream because I keep singing random things.
No,
I
that's
bet you-
not a problem. If I had a problem with it, I'd kick you off.
Yeah.
But I will not sing Taylor Swift. No, I will not.
Good.
Deej, do you sing that song in your tractor?
Once in a while I'm in the tractor.
So the captain's log says Enterprise has arrived at Vulcan as ordered 3 days after the bombing of the Earth's embassy. The death toll stands at 43. I've lost my friend, Admiral Forrest. Vulcan authorities have no lead on who's responsible. So
Penny.
that's when we meet Velas. Hello, Penny. Yes. The Enterprise theme is the worst song ever, says Mr. Miles. Deej is the worst singer ever. When you combine the two, it could rip a hole in the very fabric of reality.
No. The Enterprise theme is not the worst song. The worst song is Baby Shark.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a
No.
good call. That's a good call. I would say my least
Okay.
favorite song
See,
of all
that
time
would
is
get you dropped.
Gasoline Alley by Rod Stewart is the worst song ever. Oddly enough, Rod Stewart did sing a cover of Faith of the Heart. So
Strangely, this bomb
Mhm.
kind of looks like a spaceship.
it kind of does. It kind of does.
Well, right now the Vulcans are saying the Sirenites are responsible for this bombing, that they're following a corrupted form of Surak's teachings. But of course, over the course of these episodes, we find out they're actually the ones following Surak in the way that he's supposed to be followed. And so I love these episodes in a way, and some of it I love and some of it I hate. But I love the idea that
We also
that-
find out that Paul's mother is Serenite.
the main theme of
Mhm.
it is IDIC, and so they really play into that quite a bit in this episode.
Well, and I do appreciate
agree.
that this trilogy is like, I think that we talked about it, and you may have mentioned it already, this is an episode that sort of explains the more emotional nature of the Vulcans on Enterprise until they rediscover Surak's actual teachings. And that's what happens in this episode, because Surak's teachings have been fragmented and interpreted by Vulcans, and Sirenites are actually, the reason they're Sirenites is because Siren is carrying Surak's Katra. And this is like the introduction of the Katra. Like people just think that the Katra is legend. They don't think that it's actual factual. And then
Right.
there is everything that is laid out. And so they are Sirenites, but they're actually Surak, followers of Surak, which eventually, over the 100 years where we get to see Kirk and Spock, more specifically Spock,
We get to see, yes, exactly.
we get to see we get to see what happens after a century of Vulcans following the literal teachings of Surak.
That is one way where I do like this episode, because it explains why Vulcans have been behaving the way they have over the course of this series and how they get to where they will become.
Yeah,
And
that's what I love about this
the
episode.
later times.
That's what I love about this series, is like the coming together of the Federation was not an easy process. Everyone wasn't like on a hilltop saying, I'd like to buy the world a Coke. There was prejudice.
No. Yeah, there was
and there
definitely
was-
some problems.
But that, and I think that was a problem with the series when it first was released, and why Enterprise did get canceled after 5 seasons, is that it was like, this doesn't feel like Star Trek. But when you look back on it and you accept it as being a precursor to the harmony that is specifically the Next Generation, I think this is more correlative to the Next Generation than it is to the original series. I think it's a fascinating evolution in my mind on retro.
But it should play into the original series, because that's what's up next.
Well, that's true, but that's the trouble with prequels, right?
That is a very big issue with prequels. They do use the prosthetics for the Romulan at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
So that is odd.
Which doesn't make any damn sense, because again, like in the final episode, I can't pronounce it. It's Vulcan something or other, like Kalev or something. What's the third episode called?
Kir'Shara or
Kir'Shara.
Uh,
Yeah, exactly. So.
oh wait, it's Kir'Shara. Kir'Shara.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what it is. Well, it's an ancient artifact that contains all of Surak's teachings.
Well, and as Jim Kirk said in Star Trek 3, you don't have to believe.
Well, they put T'Pau's DNA on the bombs so that everybody would think she did it.
Also, I would like to point out that Vulcans apparently take DNA samples of every Vulcan that is born. Like that.
Yeah, just when they're born, they just
is that
keep it on
invasive?
file.
It's logical, but is it invasive for a population if you have every child's DNA is just sampled and kept? That's weird.
It is, but it kind of makes sense a little bit, because they care about one each other's life, and if somebody has the right DNA to help somebody else in like a medical emergency or something, it could be like, oh hey, your DNA matches with this one, you can help this person.
Well, we should adhere to the Prime Directive. It's their culture, it's their way. We shouldn't worry about it. We shouldn't complain about it. We shouldn't. It's their way.
Yeah, fair enough. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Well, and it does make sense. Like when a child is born on Vulcan, we get their stem cells. Like we take the afterbirth or whatever. And I hate to be graphic, but I'm just saying it does make sense. If you just take it from every child, and then you'd be able to use it to assist medically any other child.
I would bet basically the Federation does the exact same thing.
Makes sense.
Earth probably does the exact same thing. Starfleet, they all have their. So they just pointed out with the Vulcans.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, though, Phlox is on his game. He finds out that later on in the episode that DNA is just the DNA of a baby. So it couldn't have been T'Pau because she's in her 30s. or 20s or whatever she is. I forget.
I'm not sure what she is. You know what? My only problem with the characterization of T'Pau in these episodes is that she
Not
doesn't
the
have an
right voice.
accent. Yeah, not the right voice.
But
Oh,
she's really, really hot. In this.
She is really,
Yeah.
really hot. Yeah, totes.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit of an issue. I don't know why they couldn't. Was it Austrian? Is that the accent?
I don't know. It's Eastern European for sure, but it was Celia Lovsky who played T'Pau in Amok Time, married to Peter Lorre. But yeah, no, I wanted that. I wanted that accent. And there are times, like there's a take or two in one of the episodes where she tries to put it on for just 1 second and it doesn't work. I was hoping that she would end up carrying the Katra of Surak. I thought that would have been really cool. And then that would have affected the accent because she was of two minds, but never happened. Rewriting the episode or rewriting the performance, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. I think that would have been good. This is when we see who T'Pau was intended to be, a young T'Pau from Amok Time. Turns out the character rights were cheaper for a story than as a main character.
Oh, it's a Locarno, is it?
Oh, DJ Play Now says, can we do karaoke on the next member stream? I don't know. Well, if you have a particular song you want to sing on the member stream, I guess we could give it a try.
There you
Eric Carroll says, "We Built This City" is the worst song ever.
Disagree. Gasoline Alley by Rod Stewart.
This is what I don't understand. Ambassador Soval was closer to the explosion, yet Admiral Forrest died. This is plot armor, but
you know what?
Admiral
Disagree.
Forrest got him away.
Yeah.
Soval was on top.
No, Soval was not on top. Admiral Forrest jumps and like tackles Soval.
Okay.
And then the explosion comes from behind Admiral Forrest. And also, I would say it's not Daniel's Hot Topics. You know, I value your opinion greatly. It's not plot armor because Admiral Forrest comes back. The actor does for In a Mirror Darkly part one. And so it's not plot armor because they keep using the character. So I think that it is to provide emotional weight for this three-parter.
Yeah, and In the Mirror Darkly is when we see poor Gary Graham dead for the first time.
Well,
yeah.
Does
Admiral
but he was happy about it though at that point. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. No, I was going to say, does Soval show up? Not Admiral, Ambassador. Does Soval show up in Picard's trophy room in Picard season 2?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Sarek does. No, it's Sarek. It's Sarek.
Last Son of K says fans gave Enterprise grief for the way Vulcans were portrayed initially in the series.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe there was always the intent to turn them into the Vulcans of canon. And this is the episode that tries to do that.
It does. It lays the first step on the path, I think.
There's only one huge plot, real bad thing about Enterprise. That does not make sense anywhere throughout the rest of Trek. That was the Klingons.
Explain.
Because you had the rich Klingons in Enterprise, but by the time you hit TOS, you had the Flathead. Now they tried to explain that in. They tried to explain it in Enterprise, but then if you go to Deep Space Nine, no one seems to remember that there was ever flat-headed Klingons.
Only Worf.
Yeah, and we don't speak of it with outsiders.
Yep, exactly.
And so Enterprise tries to explain it away with illness and DNA and all that.
The augment virus.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I still buy it.
But then how did they completely forget that there was ever flat-headed Klingons?
That's a good point. It is a good point, but I forgive it. I don't know why I do. Like, it is a bizarre shoehorned retcon to make it so. Remember,
Especially
yes, sir.
Dax.
Especially Dax.
You had a good point.
Especially Dax. Yeah.
Because the Dax symbiote lived through the time.
Agreed.
You got it.
Maybe
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why. Maybe that's why Dax wanted to see Koloth in the 23rd century.
She held McCoy's hand.
No, she did more than that. But maybe that's why she wanted to see Koloth in the 23rd century and be like, oh, it would be so good to see him with his smooth forehead. That would have been a cool little line.
There you go.
But then it would mean that she has a fetish for smooth-headed Klingons, which means she's racist against Worf. It's a whole can of worms.
But obviously that's not true. She marries Worf.
It's true. And I assume they did the, Parmak.
Yeah, no, we almost saw it.
Mhm.
Donnie, I want to say hello to Donnie in the chat. He's
Hey,
here.
Donnie.
Welcome to Donnie. Don Ranger Power.
More phenomenal.
Mhm.
Poopus in the chat says, I never cared for Romulans with ridges. Mark Leonard didn't have them in Balance of Terror. This is something that I will give it a little bit of a thumbs up to Picard for. Is if you are from a different part of Romulus, then you evolved differently. It is established that the Awakening is under the wings of the Raven, or under the wings. Anyway, it is sort of a representation of the division between the Romulans and the Klingons. This is probably when the Romulans left.
That's a cute explanation, but Picard still sucks.
Well, no, it sucks, but it exists. And I'm just saying, when they say that there are different evolutions of Romulans on Romulus, totally fine with that.
Yeah, that's fine. In general. I
Also,
have an
speaking of
idea.
Romulans, and this is actually something that this episode sucks at, Poopas, is that Todd Stashwick, who goes on to play Captain Shaw in Picard Season 3, he is a Vulcan in episode 3, the Kunit Khalifi, or whatever the episode's called. And at the end of the episode, he shows up and he has ridges, like, just immediately. And it's like, that was jarring. So he's a Vulcan in part of it, and then he turns into a Romulan later, and it bothers me.
It was short on actors.
Well, but it's interesting to see Todd Stashwick.
Yeah.
We skipped over it, but I want to mention that we did see a Celet. And that was cool.
Ichaya.
That's why Vulcan children do not forget to feed their pets.
Yeah.
Ichaya. I know. I love Ichaya.
I love Ichaya. Is it Ichaya? Yeah, Ichaya, whatever.
Ichaya,
But
yeah.
I like, it's like, you had, Archer says to T'Pol, you had one of those. Well, you have Porthos. Porthos doesn't try and eat me when I'm late with his dinner. Well, Vulcans
right.
are never late with their Ceylon's dinner. Lovely. Absolutely
I
glorious
can believe
exchange.
that.
Yes.
You're
So
late.
there's a guy who's passed out, but they gotta. Oh, this is how they're gonna end up having a mind meld with this guy who's this guy? Corporal Asquith is the only person who knows who really planted the bomb. And so
Yes,
eventually
he's
we're
got a
going to
coma.
see
He's in a coma.
Ambassador Soval perform a mind meld on him.
Which apparently is a rarefied occurrence.
Right, and I think that's part of the High Command's disconnect with the teachings of Serac is the dismissal of mind melds and not allowing it to be integrated into Vulcan culture.
Yeah. Although I think in the original series, Spock does say no Vulcan has ever performed a mind meld on a human.
Mhm.
And so obviously, retcon.
Well, to his knowledge, they probably didn't know.
Yeah. I find
Only
all
a
of
few knew of Archer.
Yeah,
I
that's
find-
bad. That's a bad retcon. I don't like this.
But I also, this is one of those things where records are lost to time or history is recorded but some things are omitted for the benefit of prosperity. Like there is something about this. It's like they're not going to write everything down. You're
Well,
not
but
going to
in
know the
in
full history.
in Dagger of the Mind, Spock just says, "I've never done a mind meld on a human," so it's his first time doing it.
And I do like that they say that it's a very dangerous, like it's dangerous to do mind melds.
It is, and it is serious. Well, that's why T'Pol has that disease, that the neural
Well, that was
problems.
because of a forced mind meld. She wasn't open to it.
But
Tried to
T'Pau
fight it.
fixes it.
She does. So great, good job, T'Pau. She's awesome.
There we go. T'Pau's awesome. I love T'Pau. Not just the band.
Oh, there's a lot of chats. What's going on there? Let's see.
Yep,
You
chat's
are
going crazy.
incredibly popular.
Kronos,
Joe.
I don't think anybody liked the last episode of Enterprise.
You
No,
know what?
nobody did because it took away from Enterprise and injected TNG for some reason and made it seem like Enterprise was a simulation, and it was just not right.
We should review it.
Well, no. Technically, only that last episode was the
Yes,
Apollo
just
death.
that's what I mean. The last episode was a simulation. I don't mean the entire series, but that is a joke. That there are some theorists out there who say the whole thing was just Riker messing around. I don't buy that.
Darius
But no, it was just that
Munchausen.
it was just that last episode.
And while
So I
they
wasn't
did
trying to
kill
say that.
Trip, they did kill Trip. That was supposed to have been resolved in season 5 if it had went on every
Really?
season. Yes,
The
because
search for Trip.
No, actually, Trip was recruited by the Vulcan High Command to go undercover as a Romulan.
To go undercover. Well, okay, but how did he
It-
not die in that?
Well, no, they faked his death to make everybody think Trip died, and then the High Command did the surgery on him to make him look like a Romulan, and they sent him into Romulus to discover this big fleet that was being created.
Oh, right, because they were gonna do like a Romulan War season.
That
okay,
was,
yeah,
that was supposed to have been part of season 5. They just
But
killed him
that's
off anyway and left it that way.
But that's terrible because Spock says like nobody's ever seen a Romulan, and so if Trip had seen them, then he's still doomed to die. Like there's no coming back from Romulus.
I want to say hello
no,
to
he did make it back eventually,
somebody.
and T'Pol knew he was alive because she could feel that he was still alive.
What is it? The Force? Well, I guess.
Well, it's because they made it.
Oh.
It
had a
sounds
bond.
like there's actually a script and you read it.
They actually put it out in books.
Oh, in books. You read some books. That's pretty cool. Well, it's just a shame that we didn't get 7 seasons of Enterprise like we did with all the other modern, good modern Star
They
Trek.
deserved it. It absolutely deserved
They had the whole plan for season 5 already set, and since it got canceled, they wrote them into books instead and put them out.
Oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Franco Walker. You can read? Yes, that's what I was laughing at.
Well, sometimes I have people read to me, Franco, but
do they feed you grapes?
They feed me grapes. I pull coins out and tell them to wash this.
I just fan you.
I want to say hello to the reluctant dragon, Yvonne.
Hey, dragon.
Yvonne says most of the Vulcan techniques were repeatedly redefined during the course of TOS.
Yeah. Remember when
that's true.
Spock could control people's minds by touching the wall?
Oh, right. It kind of just felt like a Jedi mind trick for sure.
It did. A little bit.
Mm-hmm. And, well, how far Vulcan telepathy can go is varied by what we need it for.
Yeah, well, I don't like to treat Vulcan mind melds as if they're my Bluetooth signal. It's like, you're too far away.
Well, Bluetooth is a perfect example because it's only like 20 feet.
Yeah, same deal.
In Devil in the Dark, it was necessary to touch it, but when you get to the animated series, Spock does a mind meld with a disembodied entity. Oh, was that cloud creature thing? Does he
In the
mind meld with
animated
that?
series?
Yeah,
I
in
don't
the
know.
animated series.
That was that big rock
The-
that was making the holes.
No, that was in Devil in the Dark, but in the animated series, he does a mind meld with a disembodied entity. Like, and he should have, like, remember the companion? He could have walked into the companion, but the companion electroshocked him. So maybe that's a bad
Come
idea.
on,
Mhm.
Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Spock
Mhm.
could feel.
Yeah, Beeger was real far away, so
Yeah, but he had to penetrate the V'ger orifice to do the mind
No,
meld.
he was feeling them on Vulcan 1st.
Oh, that's true. Him? You think
Yeah.
V'ger's a boy?
Yes,
that
Beecher's
is
a boy.
that is one of the weirdest things. Is that was Spock the only telepathic being to connect with V'ger, or did other people hear V'ger and they're like, we're gonna ignore that?
That's the next special edition of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, is that they're going to do a hard cut to Beta Z, and everybody's going to be writhing in agony, and no one is going to know.
Well, you also had the fact that Beecher was specifically trying to go to Earth, and Spock was half human, so
This is
he might have
true.
been
This is
picking
very
up
true.
on that part of it.
Absolutely correct.
So
Still, all the Beta Zs, all the Betazoids, they're just like freaking out, and they don't know why. It's like that one episode where Troy loses her powers, but the opposite. It's just like all of Beta Z is Tam Elbrum, and they're all freaking out like somebody's playing Panama.
I did not like that episode because she just looks at Riker and I see nothing.
Yeah.
Like she has no capability of empathy outside of her powers. It was
Yes.
weird.
I love that episode. It is so awesome.
I think it's terrible. But
I know.
Cuber says just have them as different species, subspecies of Vulcans and Romulans. Some tribes are ribbed for your pleasure.
True story.
They
But
forgot
my
about
oath of
keeping it
celibacy
simple.
is on record. I like this. I like that subtle reference to the needs of the many without saying the whole thing.
Yes. And yeah, that's him agreeing to do the mind meld.
And this is like, I enjoy this special effect. I don't know. How do you guys feel about the CGI in these episodes? Like, I like it's early 2000s, but for a television budget, I think they're really doing a good job.
It was great.
I think it's wonderful. And there's a lot of forgiveness to be given when lightning. It's lightning. It looks like lightning. I'm fine with it.
It's like thunder. It's like lightning. The way you love me is frightening. You'd better Spock on wood.
Yeah. The High Command defiled
Nothing? All right,
gem.
sorry, guys.
Well, okay, so when they used to spy on Andoria. So Areb is complaining about some of the issues that he has with the Vulcan government, because they're being violent to other people. And so what are you guys doing that for?
Oh, wait, when they meet Saran or whatever he's calling himself,
Areb, he's calling himself Areb.
Areb, he gives the pop quiz to Archer, and I think both of those questions are questions from Star Trek 4, where it's like, it's something about T Planahoth. Like they have like the first rule of nothing unreal exists. Like that is a question that is asked, and they never answer it, but they do ask the questions from the retraining of Spock's mind in Star Trek 4 during that sort of like, so you're following the path of Sirac. All right.
Oh,
well, if
here
you
it is.
are,
You want me
you
to
have
share it? Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't have the answers.
No, it doesn't matter if it doesn't have the answers, because I know at least one of the answers.
All right. Here it is.
Is it in the private chat?
It is.
All right. So Areb says, very well, student of Sirac. Who said logic is the cement of our civilization, which we ascend from chaos using reason as our guide? I think that's T. Planahoff, matron of Vulcan philosophy from Star Trek 4. Then Archer says, well, I'm new at this because he doesn't know the answer. This is like a Fallout dialogue tree. Then Arev says something more basic then. What's Kirikintha's first law of metaphysics? The answer is nothing unreal exists. Again, Star Trek 4. Archer says, I'm familiar with
Okay,
Newton's
yes,
first law
that's
of
right.
motion. I imagine they're pretty much the same. And Archer, thanks for bluffing, but incorrect. So,
Oh boy.
but I really no.
An
but
object
that's
in motion tends to stay in motion. A little different.
then yeah, very, very. So no, but I did appreciate that little thing.
that's,
It was like it was having a quiz. It was like seeing a crossword puzzle clue that I recognize.
Mhm.
So Vulcan, like I think this is a great Vulcan lore couple of episodes. I give this entire trilogy an A+. I know we're not marking
Cool.
these because this
You
is more of a
can if you
memory.
want to. This is more of a memory for Gary Graham. Gary Graham gets all of the A pluses.
He's still my
Definitely a big A+.
He's still my third favorite Vulcan.
Yeah,
Maybe fourth.
but he
I
has a
like him
very
better
good
in
Vulcan.
Robot Jocks.
He was given
Hey,
a
look!
difficult task,
He
and
was.
he did it.
Yeah, but also like it's kind of he is the second fiddle Vulcan to Paul in this series. So, and one of the things watching these 3 episodes is that I know that Jolene Blalock was like a Star Trek fan and was concerned with how she was directed in terms of her characterization of T'Pol. I think that as the series developed, she thought that she was getting a little too emotional, but it made sense, I guess, because she did have that mental.
Right. In terms of being too emotional right now,
her mom dies.
Her mom dies in this episode, yes, and so she does get emotional at that point, which it's something you don't often see with the Vulcan, but if your parent dies, I guess it makes some sense.
Mm-hmm. I do like the makeup on Soval in terms of him being sort of banged up by the explosion, because when in movies and someone gets like a cut or a bruise or something and it's gone in 2 scenes, like they carry through the wounds of the bombing on Soval straight through all 3 episodes. I think it's great. The makeup is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Peace and long life.
Definitely works. I think it looks good. If you are truly concerned with spellings and pronunciation, how about you give him Deej and me a DJ? Huh, okay. This is not the crew you're looking for, Spock says as he waves his hand in front of the enemy.
And R2D2 is an exocomp.
Oh God! Here we go with that again.
I just thought I thought of it. No, never mind. Let's not talk about it.
Damn it, Scotty.
Sorry.
I didn't see a problem with it. I love exocomps, and I like R2D2.
See, I didn't think I was. Yeah.
I didn't think so either. What's the problem? Her character greatly improved after season 1. Season 1, she was insufferable.
But that was
really?
Also, well, no. Season 1, she is insufferable.
She is. Well, that's her job, though. Her job was to be insufferable.
Yes. Because Enterprise is a lot about these alien species getting together for the first time and doing stuff together. And so the friction between cultures, and that's one of the things that some people don't like Deep Space Nine because there is too much interpersonal conflict. Next Generation, Gene obviously wanted to make it more evolved, as it has been echoed throughout the ages. But Deep Space Nine was, okay, if humans don't fight with one another, then they fight. Well, they don't fight, but they have disagreements with alien races. And I think that this was a great way to show those disagreements while humans are still working together. Now, still things, prejudices still show up, but not as bad as in New Trek. But like, I do enjoy the evolution of that social cooperation as presented in Enterprise, and how we get from Enterprise to the next or sorry, even the original series. There's a level of prejudice which is represented between McCoy and Spock, playful but still there, almost like an Archie
Well, it's
Bunker.
still there because that is part of Spock's struggle, is being between two worlds in terms of his Vulcan side, his human side, and McCoy's friendship with him is a representation of it. And
But and then you also get Styles. Like even Kirk says to Styles, "There's no place for your prejudice on my bridge." Paraphrasing.
Yes,
And-
right. There's no room for it on the bridge.
Right.
Keep it in your quarters.
And then, yeah, exactly. Go be racist in private. And then by the time we get to the next generation, it's like everybody gets along. And so the only way that you can create that friction is through, I don't know, stereotyping the aliens, I guess.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. But I do, and again, these are not, one of the comments that Archer makes is the misinterpretation of a man's words as passed down the ages. He chuckles, and he never says it explicitly. It's never preachy, but he's like, and T'Pol is like, "What are you laughing at?" And Archer says, "It just sounds so familiar," because it was something that was shuffled off by humanity at some point. And it looks like the sort of agnosticism of Star Trek presents itself here, even in this episode. It's like, we're not going to fight about where God is, but when we find him, we'll let you know. And everybody knows we found God in Star Trek 5. Wait, no.
Did we? No.
No, it was Cybok. It was Cybok.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just had to take a call. I didn't catch anything you just said. So
I was talking about Cybok.
Cybok happened while I
Yeah.
was away. That makes sense.
That does make sense.
Well, Soval is owning up to the mind meld he just did, and everybody on the High Commander. They're outraged. Well, mostly Velas is outraged.
But like, these are people who have the capability to do mind melds. They
I
just
know.
haven't trained themselves to do
I
it.
don't understand like how this happened, where they reject their heritage so much. How did this happen? I don't know.
Hang on. Poopa says God is running a hot dog stand in San Francisco.
Oh,
I was
boy.
under the impression he was playing skee ball in New Jersey. Kronos, I appreciate your opinion.
And
however, it is the wrong one.
Star Trek 5 is still horrible. It is. Star Trek 5 is still horrible, but I do like the scenes in Yosemite. Those are the best parts.
You know what, Kronos, go row your boat.
But here's another retcon kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So McCoy's not the first person to get a Vulcan Katra. So now it's Archer.
Well,
yeah, but that's easily explained that this small group of Saranites would be the only one that knew the Contra was passed into Archer. They may have never told it to anybody else, and it just
But
died.
Archer would have to tell somebody.
Why?
Wouldn't he? Because
Wouldn't
you
want
have to, because it's part of history. It's part of something that happened.
Not if it's part of a religious sect of Vulcans. He
Well,
could
I
have just
get
kept
that.
quiet about it.
I get that Vulcans are private, but
Yeah, but he
humans
could
are.
have kept it private so they didn't get in trouble for it.
I'm saying Vulcans would keep it private, but humans are gossipers. They're going to talk about it.
Archer's Archer. He probably kept it to himself, so nobody else would find out.
And this is kind of a cop out, and I appreciate your like admonish me before I say it, but it's kind of the same thing as Ben Sisko being Gabriel Bell. It's like, yes, that happened, but we'll never acknowledge it ever.
Yeah, so that's the reason why McCoy doesn't know about Katras later.
Well, but also,
'Cause Archer didn't talk about it.
like, I don't think that Archer would report it.
And
I think that
plus,
it would be all about
McCoy-
the artifact. It wouldn't be about, like, I'm sure Phlox did like some medical scans to make sure that his neurological who's it did are fine.
Who's a what?
Who's it did it?
But that could also be explained because he said that there would be some mental issues if he was caught out in them storms too long.
Every time that Archer goes and is near a Vulcan fleet, he looks at T'Pol and says, I can hear them.
Less than a case says first time the Vulcan salute was used properly in the Enterprise, Soval demonstrating and explaining its true meaning to Trip.
Is it the
T'Pol was
Idic?
supposed to keep the humans on a leash. Yes, exactly. That's what she was for.
You know what I really like about the explanation of the Idic in Enterprise is that the triangle in the Idic is Mount Seleia.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that detail of retcon or adding of flavor to the.
I would say that's adding because it doesn't interfere.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and it's funny when you look in the Vulcan High Council, they do have an image of Mount Seleia, but it doesn't have the circle around it. It's all like Mount Seleia is the most important thing, but the circle is missing. And as Siren Mavek, whatever his name is, he says the most important, like it starts at Mount Seleia, but the thing is that it's always going. The circle, there is no end to infinite diversity and infinite combination.
Perfect circle never ends.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's actually what this episode's about. It very heavily plays into that because
Kronos, I'm gonna have to write down
because
Kir'Shara.
Archer gets the Katra, he's not T'Pol. So and then they end up bringing the Andorians into everything, and so all of these different species have to come together to help the Vulcans.
I would also like to make one last point about why Archer would not carrying the Contra.
Mm-hmm. Not Contra. It's not a fucking Nintendo game. Sorry about the swear.
Shut up. But he could have thought Starfleet might think of him as compromised.
Ooh.
That's true. That's true.
No, but I think that presents a level of prejudice that Starfleet at that time was trying to get past. And I think
they were trying to get past it, but they still held it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey.
Compromised is what? What are you talking about in terms of having the Katra would compromise him for what? What are you saying?
Because he possessed the mind of a Vulcan in his.
Yes, and what's your reasoning and argument? Can you explain it again?
Because please? They could have thought that maybe part of it was still in there and would influence his decisions on things.
Oh, and that's why he would stay quiet about it, because he doesn't want to be seen as a Vulcan.
He doesn't want to lose command of the Enterprise.
Oh, but the Katra was removed, but I guess that's not good enough. But
well, as far as they knew it was removed, but it could have been still there as far as Starfleet was concerned.
So that's Archer is paranoid. Okay.
That's so interesting, and I do appreciate that they sort of address it in Star Trek 6 when Spock says, I've been dead before. But like, wouldn't people show up and be like, Spock? It would be like Snake Plissken from Escape from New York. It's like, I heard you died. It's the same, like that mysticism and the Vulcan supernatural. Like, it is supernatural what they're doing. Resuscitate the dead. Oh my God. Oh my, you had a dead guy in your brain? I don't trust you.
That's about the same thing about Picard being a Borg. Starfleet probably kind of thought about him, does he still have the Borg stuff in his mind?
That's the
that's
same
why
thing.
That's why he was ordered to stay away from the battle.
Stay away. Yes, correct.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Oh, Darius.
Mr. Miles says the temporal war can explain all the retcons, and Picard traveling back in time to fight the Borg also ties into changes in the timeline.
Yeah, Mr. Miles, I'm totally with you in terms of all the
Hmm.
wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Hey, this is not Doctor Who.
Oh, no, I know, but thank you for getting
Ooh.
the reference. I'm glad you're picking up what I'm throwing down. But like there is something, this was a tidy mess when it came to the 735. I'm okay with the Kelvin universe because that's a different mess altogether. But once we get post Star Trek Beyond, I'm like, I have no idea what you people are doing.
Hey, but I just want to say hello to Darius Munchausen. My man, Deej Odyssey, thanks for joining the show today. Yes, I echo that for sure. Thank you for being here.
Blame Jill. She's the one that sent me the link.
There you
I
are.
did. I had a feeling you'd know what's going on.
If you don't like the show, please direct all of your complaints to Antiderivative1 on X.
No, just blame Kronos.
Blame Canada.
There you go.
Kronos is the scapegoat?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. So this is the okay, so the loss starts getting more and more emotional the more you watch this three-parter.
Well, this is Admiral Layton from the Deep Space Nine episode, same actor.
Oh.
Which is
Very
great.
cool.
I recognize this actor, but I don't know what he's from. But no, Vlos is and also the great Joanna Cassidy from Blade Runner. And Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
And yeah, this is to Paul's mom, to Les.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't died yet.
She will, though. Don't worry.
Yeah, she will. But she's joined this group because she's noticed that Vulcans have strayed. And she wants to help.
I really enjoy the cinematography of the ship flybys in this episode. There's something about the way that just the Enterprise orbiting Vulcan looks. It's great. There's Gary Soval.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's right. And I'd like this scene though. I've grown an affinity for your people. And
What do you mean your people?
Humans.
Yeah.
Oh.
Humans.
I thought he meant white people.
No, humans.
As we look at Travis.
Hold on just a moment. I want to grab that scene for a second.
Oh, nice.
It was a good one.
We're going to get the clip?
No. Oh, the clip? I don't have the clip.
Oh.
Rumble.
Clippity clop.
No, but I would say my number one, like, why is Valeris in my top 5 Vulcans? I love Valeris.
No idea.
I don't know, but I just wanted. Okay, so Soval says, I lived on Earth for more than 30 years, Commander. In that time, I developed an affinity for your world and its people. And Tucker says, you did a pretty good job of hiding it. And Soval says, thank you. Yes, I love the thank you. And I thought that was great.
Yes.
You've been on Earth too long.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there something interesting about a species that can literally share thoughts with you, that they exalt and elevate privacy? Like Vulcans aren't suppressing their emotions, they're just incredibly private about them. They don't talk about them.
Well, no, they do. They very
don't
specifically
express them.
suppress their emotions. That's the whole
Well,
point.
exactly. But what is suppression except for ignorance of? Like,
No,
I'm
they're
aware of
not.
this.
They're not ignorant of their emotions.
But I'm sort of stuttering all over this. But it is something where conversationally, emotion is not important if there is a goal to be achieved.
Right. That's
Your
the point of
emotions
using
mean
logic
nothing.
over
Exactly.
the emotion.
So we're agreeing, and I'm just being very, very prickly.
Well, that works for me.
Okay, good. That makes me Vulcan. Prickly.
And
Here's Trip acting like it's a telephone.
He
Yeah.
hung up on us. Yeah,
At
well,
least he
he
didn't make a
did.
mom joke like Poe Dameron.
So, I mean, Enterprise does have a Vulcan problem, so I do appreciate these episodes addressing it.
Yes. I think it's
But
really, really good.
but some T'Pau does have a certain thing she says here where she dismisses Archer's life. She's like, I don't care if he dies. We got to get that Katra out of him. I won't sacrifice our future to protect the life of one human. And so
Needs of
I'm
the
not
many.
sure. Yeah, technically, but forcing violence, I don't
It's
know.
not
That
forcing
doesn't.
violence, it's retrieving something at all costs. And in
Mhm.
this particular instance, an 18-year or 1800-year-old consciousness. Yeah, Archer is worth it.
Well, anyway, she fails.
She does. She sucks at it.
But she doesn't suck at helping T'Pol with her neural problem later on. So
Right. And actually it's kind of rude because we are talking about
Mhm.
T'Pau versus Surak, and Surak would be the dominant intellect. Oh my god, Deej, you're yelling in the chat because that
Yes, I am.
post 22nd century Trek sucks. Post 22nd century?
I was answering Daniels
Oh.
that everybody was complaining about
Mhm.
Enterprise being before TOS, and now that we have post Voyager series, people still complaining. I'm saying that's because it sucks.
It does. But it exists.
Sucks.
If you like it, I'm happy for you. I enjoy it because I like schlock. As Jill likes to say, I enjoy garbage sometimes. And so
Yeah, right. Well, I'm fine with. I love talking about Star Trek up to 2005. After that,
yeah, but you
I
just
don't.
have to be an
I don't.
adult. It exists.
It has the label. It's Star Trek in name only.
All right.
That's right. Just like Doctor Who, it's only Doctor Who in name only these days.
I haven't seen it recently. I haven't been able to collect myself since Clara Oswald died. Anyway, I have to step away
Or
for a
the
moment.
downfall.
All right. See you
No.
soon.
I'll be back in a flash.
Hurry back.
Wash your hands.
So Archer has to undergo this ritual to get the Katra out, but fortunately, it doesn't work. Although we do get a really creepy scene with it's Turok. I don't know. It looks like he's dying. Like is Turok? I don't know. Does he die in this scene? It just really seems like he's in a lot of pain. He doesn't.
No.
Because you know what I mean, right? He's getting these radiation burns all over him. It kind of, he says, we're paying the heavy price for our foolishness. Logic has not won this day, but this day won't last forever. Logic is at the heart of every Vulcan. Even as the ashes fall, my people are discovering a new way. You can accomplish what Siren could not. But you don't think Serac dies here? Okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, he is so old. Like, how could he die now, right? But yes, of course, there's Vulcan patrol ships are attacking Reed and Tucker and everything. So that's not good for them. And Soval's admitting that he's helping the Enterprise. So it's really great stuff. Ambassador Soval is just wonderful in this episode in terms of how he's changing, in terms of how he's treating humans. But Blas is just getting worse and worse the more we go on these 3 episodes. He's in 100% villain mode, bombarding the encampment. I just don't know. This is kind of at this point. I just don't understand how any Vulcan would find these actions logical. Vulcans value life, even those of other species, more than anything.
Well, maybe he thought it was time for a change or something. That's kind of crazy, but
It is kind of crazy.
Yep.
And it's fine if he's going crazy, but why doesn't everyone else say, hey, you're kind of going crazy. Maybe we should take this command away from you.
well, I think the other Vulcans in the room try to tell him not to do this, and he goes, "I'm going to do it anyhow."
Yeah, and he does it at
Yep.
at a weapons point.
Yep.
He stops having logical answers to their questions. They're questioning him. He doesn't. He just has emotional responses.
Yep. He just did not like change.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole deal.
Says, remember that Spock mind melded with Kirk and edited his memories of Arena in Requiem for Methuselah. Maybe the Vulcans did some editing on Archer, so he would not have clear memories of the Katra. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Well, he definitely wanted it to be removed, but how much did they remove? Did they remove more than just the Katra? That's something. That is good. That's a good point, Snurdy. Didn't think about that. I'll
Gotta remember, Snortopupus is the most intelligent polar bear we know.
That is. I think that's the best thing I've heard. Frank Walker says, I think I'm getting high off of all the chemical fumes in my lounge. I'm going to stand at the front door. Oh my goodness. I hope you're okay. Can you open a window? So yeah, that was a great snort. I enjoyed that. Well, if your species had telepathy and didn't value privacy, everyone would kill everyone else soon enough. Oh, you went dark with the telepathy. You'd make a pretty good horror movie about that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, yes, for sure. Because it sucks. Good answer. Okay, so now I caught up with what Deidre's saying. That makes sense. Kurtzman Trek is an abomination. Yes, it's Friday, so we can say it. 66 to 05. Hello, Eric Carroll. Yes, I know. Star Trek and name only, for sure. And I always stand by that. Darius Munchausen says, I found the Vulcan philosophy focusing on goals and logic extremely attractive around the ages of 12 to 14. I know I wasn't the only one going through puberty who did.
Interesting.
Classic Comics adds, early in the series, I thought that Archer and the command crew would discover the connection between the Vulcans and the Romulans, but would be sworn to secrecy because the truth would wreck the new alliance. Well, I'm so glad that didn't happen. That would be even worse than what happens at the end of this episode. I've known so many guys who are around 14 who wish to suppress their emotion in a similar way. Then we grow out of it.
Yeah, I never had that. I was Deej gone wild the whole time.
I never did that either.
You were okay with your emotions everywhere.
Oh, hell yeah. I was shooting it everywhere.
Fire!
Fire!
When you get ticked, you just say, hey.
Deej gone wild, sister. Oh, no.
That's right. I had that music playing in my head. Dun, 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 dun.
There you go. Amok time.
Well, you did it so well, but we have a moment here. I can play it.
Right. Deej gone wild.
There he is.
I hate that when my shirt gets ripped.
Does that happen a lot during filming?
Not in my filming.
I
All
only get
over
upset
Kirk.
if it's a Lurpa that rips the shirt. If it's a female, I don't care.
Mhm.
There you go.
See you in 20 minutes, Kronos.
Power nap time.
Oh, power nap. All right. Great.
Going to do a Vulcan mind meld.
Well, yeah, so Velas is getting crazier and crazier. Sirenites must have seen our ships by now. If they evacuate into the forge, they'll be extremely hard to track. We can't wait any longer. Drive Enterprise from orbit. Use all necessary force.
Mhm.
It's just one thing that it's tough to buy that all the Vulcans would just allow Velas to be totally irrational and emotional, not call him out on his illogic and his violent nature. The only thing that saves it for me at all is that Kuvok starts to question him.
And the puppies too.
And the puppies too. Yes, definitely. The puppies' opinions on the actions of this Vulcan are exactly what I want to hear about right now.
They keep barking.
And so Archer's leading the way. He knows where the artifact is. He's got his torch. And apparently there's spiders on Vulcan. Oh, look at all these spider webs. Or some kind of insect. And so they're standing in front of a circular carved door. Archer knows exactly the right panels to push together in the right way because of the memories he has.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds the pyramid-shaped object, which is the Kir'Shara, and he gives it to T'Pau. The bombardment is continuing, so it's still there's Velas is still causing mayhem and destruction on his own people. He's just ridiculous.
Well, he's determined to stop them at any cost.
Yeah. And so T'Pau just lost her mom in the bombardment, and the cost being T'Pau's mom and lots of other Vulcans.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's a disgrace. Not this guy. No, Gary Graham's amazing, but Velas is he's good at acting like a terrible guy.
To be continued.
So Archer and T'Pau. Oops. This is a
How'd we get
mistake.
to Buckaroo?
I took a screen cap of something that shouldn't have been shared, but it was just shared. But it's fine. It was innocent, so there's nothing wrong with it. The Andorians have deployed most of their fleet.
Why
So
do
okay,
those
so
little-
this is the
Why-
source of Velas's his paranoia. He thinks
Why-
the
why-
Andorians what?
Why do those icons on the screen strangely look like Constitution class enterprises?
Oh, they kind of do. They're supposed to represent Andorian ships. But you're not wrong. It could be a issue of reusing icons from a different layout. We already have these artifacts, so let's use them again. But no, that's a good point. So Voss is paranoid that the Andorians have a super destructive weapon, the Zindi weapon, but there were previous episodes that were like, no, we got rid of those plans, so they don't exist. But for whatever reason, he's determined to say that they do. They do still exist. And what do you guys think about T'Pau crying? I think a Vulcan crying when their parent dies is a thing, but I don't know.
I didn't really bother me.
It didn't bother you, yeah.
Not me either. Just an emotion that probably could not control at that time.
Mm.
And you got to remember, T'Pol is kind of broken still from all her emotions would surface easier with her.
Maybe my friends and I were just uber repressed, only children misunderstood by our kindly stepfathers. It was an oddly consistent pattern in my hometown. Oh man, I would hope that you were able to express yourself in some way.
Mm-hmm.
His hometown is Carbon Creek.
Daniel's Hot Topic says, why were they fighting for that Vulcan woman? I would drop her like a rock. She is cold as ice and super ugly. Horny, horny Vulcans. Oh my god. Wow, Daniel's Hot Topics has a spicy opinion about Chapring.
You gotta watch out for that guy.
Well, you look at the new T'Pring in Strange New Worlds, and she's just a hoe bag slut.
Well, yeah, that makes T'Pring look honorable and by comparison to the new one, for sure.
Aha, Mr. Miles caught my Carbon Creek reference.
There you go.
Daniel asks me, do you remember that episode of TNG that showed the Klingon Civil War? Yes, I love that one. I love seeing Worf and his brother fighting together, and it's a good time. I remember when that episode was being advertised in the 90s. I was so excited, and I saw it, and it was okay. Huh? No, I thought it was really great. But it did not show what I wanted it to show. I wanted to see Klingons kill each other on the streets. But they never showed it because TNG was a family-friendly Star Trek. Generations of freaking family that families could sit and watch. Yeah, no, but that's what's great about TNG is that it's good for everyone.
I'm starting to worry about Daniel.
Daniel really is not happy unless death and destruction is occurring.
Yeah, and he really wants this Section 31, which is an evil organization. I'm really starting to think Daniel is...
Daniel's out for blood.
The changeling.
Specifically pink. He wants pink Pepto-Bismol blood to run. And of course.
Daniel is Section 31.
Well, that makes sense. And so, Velas is worried about weapons of mass destruction. We know they have the Xindi technology. So the obvious parallels to current politics is not actually very ignorable here. And so why they do this to Vulcans, I guess it's fine. I have some issues with it. But they would make Vulcans so human. But that is the kind of thing that they're trying to correct in this episode. But they correct it by making it worse, and then they correct it. Because part of the Vulcan strength is in its peacefulness, not making illogical attacks about unknown events and not exacerbating problems without having all of the known facts. And Velas totally ignores all of that culture with this weapons of mass destruction paranoia. I feel like it's kind of a political commentary of injecting human foibles into Vulcans, which I guess maybe Enterprise might have been doing all of this time, and what Surak is having such an issue with in terms of how he knows through the guy who got his Katra, Shran, whatever his name was. But it's really wrong and unbelievable to me to see not only Velas but his council's inability to see why they don't stop him as he's massacring other Vulcans. So this whole episode is really cool. It's really entertaining, and of course Gary Graham is absolutely perfect, and so is Jeffrey Combs. I think Jeffrey Combs and Gary Graham stand out as really amazing characters in this episode. But I don't know how much I buy how deep into the villain nature that they threw Velas into. And
the two of them together would make a great buddy cop film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, right. But I'm gonna have to go through all of this again with Scotty because he's the one who's gonna argue with me on all of those points.
Oh, he can watch the rewind.
Yeah,
No,
Scotty's been
it's
away
gonna
way too
happen
long.
anyway. And no, but it's gonna happen anyway because he's gonna come back and act like whatever. I don't know what he's gonna do.
Whatever.
But that's my opinion anyway.
Do noted.
But definitely Soval is awesome. So that's the thing that we'd agree on is how he behaves in this episode is realizing that there's a problem with the government and that he wants to save his people. And that's why he's helping the Enterprise crew. And see, even okay, so I do kind of like Kuvok again is questioning him. Data can be falsified.
Oh yes.
And
Easy.
that's something
Oh, worried.
Yeah, that's something that Velas doesn't he doesn't care. He doesn't care that about the logic that Kuvok is bringing forth. He's just saying Andorians, they have the Zindi prototype. They're going to kill everybody. And whatever. So whatever kind of underhanded thing he's trying to do with that is causing him to massacre his own people. And it's just
Well, it's Romulans.
It's something that I just don't believe Vulcans would do.
Well, it is kind of implied that he is either he's a Romulan agent. Whether he is himself a Romulan, we don't know.
So, you're thinking he could actually be a Romulan. I didn't
Yeah.
even consider that. He is so extremely emotional. He's not using suppression at all. So him being a Romulan would make more sense.
Well, and
I
they
kept
say
waiting
at the
for
end.
something like that to
They
happen.
do. It does happen.
Does?
Yeah, at the very end, when he's like, "This is ridiculous. I can't believe all the things that have happened. And what about me?" And it's like, well, we can't take you now, because if we take you now, then everyone will know that you're a Romulan. I think he is. If he isn't a Romulan, he is a Romulan sympathizer, much like Duras.
Okay.
Romulan. There's no B in Romulan, Daniel.
He's saying that's how he said it when he was a kid.
Okay, then that makes sense. I apologize for making fun of your speech impediment.
Because Daniel's still basically a kid to most of us.
Well, no, he's an adult in my mind.
Yeah, but I'm so old that he is a kid.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. So am I. Because let's not forget, Commodore Boone, very old.
Hey.
You said it first.
Hey.
That's it. We're going to kick Scotty in the nuts.
Again?
Well,
Only
you know what?
Again.
Only problem is he enjoys it too much.
Well, and
That's
not everybody
true.
keeps their genitals in the same place.
Wait, how did we get to this? I wasn't
I
paying
don't know.
attention. What is this conversation?
I
Why
showed
are
back
people
up in
being
the
kicked?
chat.
Yeah,
You're back,
Scotty
sir.
came back, so
Yeah.
Blame
it's a
Scotty.
free-for-all
Blame
again.
Scotty.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I
So
love. I just want to give big shout out to not just Jeffrey Combs, but also the prosthetics and the motion. I am fascinated every time I see Shran's antenna.
you know, I actually wanted to have some antenna that actually move like that. I never did that, but
It'd be
that would be
expensive.
the funnest. That would be the funnest cosplay because I
Mhm.
love how the antenna moves with his emotion.
I just
And-
kind of wish I was in this scene.
And, oh right, to Paul and to Pow.
Hey, ladies. Kyle?
Can I buy you a Romulan ale?
And once in Suruk's time. And okay, that was the part where she got her Panar syndrome cured
Cured.
by T'Pau because it's a lie. So the high command has been lying, saying that there's no cure for it. But T'Pau's like, no, you can totally cure it. You just have to know what you're doing, and she does. And this is the torture scene between Soval and Shran. One of the most intense scenes in this three-parter
Hmm.
because
I would.
Shran, the Andorians figured out a way to torture Vulcans effectively with their emotions.
Well, they are barbaric. They're
Mhm.
Andorians.
Yeah,
They are a warrior race. Something that
Mm.
Soval even says at the beginning of this three-parter, and says you have the arrogance of Andorians.
Well, yeah, they actually connect in a weird way, even though it's a torture scene.
Hmm. And I think that this is like one thing that, and I hate to say I was reminded of another performance. Maybe I was reminded of the subtext of The Mind's Eye when Geordi gets captured and they make him go crazy. Like I thought that this, him in the chair again, it's like a
Yeah.
Romulan tack. Well, this isn't associative with the Romulans at all, but it feels like that episode where Geordi gets all Clockwork Oranged.
Mm. This one's a little more powerful than that. And
Yes.
then they just replaced Geordi with this other guy and sent him to Risa. This Romulan goes to Risa.
What are you saying? All Geordi LaForges look alike?
Well, I don't know. They find somebody who looks like Geordi and send him to Risa.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Todd Stashwick, otherwise known as Captain Shaw.
Yeah, but all Geordi LaForges are related to a Confederate soldier.
Hmm.
No,
What?
That
that's
story?
Riker.
No, you didn't see the
Thaddeus.
story?
Oh no, I didn't see the story. Please illuminate.
LeVar Burton took in a genetics test thing, and he found out that he is actually related to a Confederate soldier.
Oh,
And he cried when he found out.
he found out he's American?
Yeah.
What about Glory?
so
Are
sorry
those
about that.
Confederate?
No, them were Union soldiers.
Okay, I didn't know.
They wore
It's been a
blue.
while since I've seen that.
Blue and the gray. Blue.
The blue and the
was
gray.
Union.
Q and the gray. Q and the gray.
But why would he cry about that? He's not that person.
Well,
wasn't-
Confederate, yeah.
No,
he
but
wasn't a Confederate soldier, so
Oh,
why should
but-
it bother him?
because if you've seen most of his posts on freaking X, you would understand why that would hurt his feelings.
Mhm.
Well, and
He
also
thought he was
Mhm. I can
thought he
understand
was
why
like-
he was upset.
perfect.
Yeah, I
person.
guess I can too, but I don't know.
But I
Like-
agree with your assessment of the situation as well. Is when it comes down to it, he was an American or a descendant
Exactly.
of an American.
Super woke.
You're super woke.
No, I'm half asleep right now.
Yeah, me too, yo.
I stayed up. I was going to go back to sleep, but then Jill sent the invitation. I said I can't miss Jill's show.
You're busy
Oh.
watching Forever Night.
I'm so glad you're here for me. That means a lot.
Yeah, I'm just
Jill,
oh my
anytime
God.
you ask me if I'm not working, I'm going to show up.
Yeah. And so the only thing that convinces Shran to stop what he's doing is because the Enterprise starts firing on the Andorians, and Soval's like, "Do you want to make an enemy of the Earth
humans.
too? Yeah,
Yeah.
the humans."
Well, and I don't know if
And
you
then
guys
he's like,
touched on it. 'Cause
"Nah, I guess not."
I've been away for a second, but where's the Vulcan fleet? Do you guys remember where the Vulcan fleet is?
They already bombarded themselves, so they bombarded the camp and everything, and then they
No,
went
but
off. But
The
then
invasion fleet.
the invasion fleet, yeah, the invasion fleet.
Do you know where they are?
It already started. Like they already. Well, okay.
They amassed.
They're
At the
They're
Regulus.
hiding. They're hiding.
They amassed at the Regulus system.
Yeah, and
You know where the Regulus system is? Right beside the Mutara Nebula.
Mhm.
Like, so no, it's a nice callback to Star Trek 2 because
Mhm,
Regula
it is.
1 is And I didn't know if you
Agreed.
guys had talked about it.
No, we didn't. Thank you. So that's a good point. And that is a fine trivia point. Thank you, Scotty. And it is a great nebula to hide in, so it makes sense. And
As
they're
long
still
as you are
there,
aware of three-dimensional thinking, yes.
and Shran knows about it. So he finally, after all that, he had to put Soval through torture.
You know what?
To believe him.
The most heartbreaking thing about that is, like, Soval tells the truth right off the hop.
He does.
And it's like, I don't even know what I can tell you. I don't even know how I can make this end. I've already told you the truth, and you don't believe me. So it is a very heart-rending.
Yeah, I don't know why
scene.
you don't believe me. You might as well just turn that thing up.
Yeah, you might as well just take care of it. Hey, Dalek.
Yeah. Hello, Dalek 451. Oh, I'm really sorry you're not feeling so good. I hope you feel better.
Well, Dalek, on the plus side, you got nowhere to go but up.
Dalek, I told you to stop watching that new Doctor Who crap.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, Dalek, if you're watching New Who and that's making you sad, stop watching it.
Yeah, good advice.
No,
I
that is
quit.
good advice. I'd follow that if I were you.
You know, I don't get depressed when I go into my fridge and I find a carton of milk that is expired. I just throw away the milk and say, oh, well, I'll have to go and find some new milk.
Now,
So
see,
when something...
Matt Sykes' partner, George Francisco, would be upset because they drink that.
They get drunk off of it.
Right.
Yeah. It's the PBR for the San Franciscos.
So see, right there, another callback to Alien Nation.
Yeah.
I do like how they establish the Salat calls.
Yeah, T'Pau's very good at imitating a Salat.
Yes. And I wonder if she makes that noise in the midst of Ponfar.
Oh,
does.
man, I knew he was going to say
He
that.
does.
Come on! She's
He
pretty.
does.
I felt like that was coming as well, but you know what? I'm actually okay with that one.
Thank you.
Hank Tenese gets drunk off of sour milk, Mr. Miles.
And Archer is improving his Vulcan neck pinch.
How did you feel about the Vulcan neck pinch?
He shouldn't be
able to do it.
He's not strong enough to do it.
He shouldn't be able to do it because McCoy couldn't do it when he had Spock's.
Agreed.
Oh, good point.
The only one who should be able to do it is Data.
But Picard does it.
Well, Picard's an android.
No, Picard does it in Starship Mine. He does it during the Next Generation show.
That's right. So yeah, see, they're all over the place with this. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
Maybe it's a technique that you could actually learn. I always thought that the pinching of the nerve, the Vulcan neck pinch, the pinching of the nerve bundle at the neck and shoulder was also informed by the telekinetic nature. Telekinetic? Anyway, psychokinetic? I don't know.
And that's something that Leonard Nimoy said. It's not exactly on screen, but I believe it. It makes sense to me that it would have something to do with telepathy.
Yeah. And so it is a little disheartening to see non-Vulcans do anything that is inherently Vulcan. Again, it's another POS when it comes to Picard is when Android Sutra decides to do a mind meld and it's like, F you can't do that.
That's ridiculous.
It is.
See, I was letting the neck pinch go with Data because it's the telepathy being an integral part isn't actually canon, so the strength is good enough there. But him doing a mind meld would have been bonkers. That's so stupid.
Absolutely. I believe the phrase you're looking for is batshit.
Yes. Agreed. Not something that even makes any sense.
But I do like, and you mentioned that there wouldn't be sort of bombardment of the Serenians or whoever these people are. like
They
Vloss
already
Vloss
bombarded
says
him.
that but he says that he's kept a lot of this information away from the rest of the High Council because it wasn't important. It was sort of like need to know, and you didn't need to know.
No, he said you didn't need to know because you could have been an Andorian spy, or there
Right.
could
He
be
does say,
spies
yeah.
around.
Yeah.
That's his lame ass excuse.
It is a lame ass excuse. But he obviously is pursuing this endeavor to his own ends. And it is kind of a cheat in the last 45 seconds of the episode for him to be like, and I'm a Romulan. And it's like, okay, that explains why you're such a weirdo.
But did he say, and I'm a Romulan? Didn't he just
doesn't
meet
say
up
that.
with
No,
a
he doesn't say
Romulan?
that. They did say that they can't take him because it would cause too much tumult.
Yeah. So his they're no longer safe there or whatever. Their cover's blown.
Oh, and what about all the fight scenes that they have in here? Aren't Vulcans supposed to be super strong compared to humans?
They
What
should
about
be,
the air?
yeah. They should
The
be
air is
throwing
the
humans
air.
around like rag dolls.
Absolutely. So
And it should be even worse because Vulcan's gravity is heavier, so the humans
and the air
should,
is thinner. Yeah.
yeah, the humans should be given out really quickly.
And it's wicked hot.
Right.
Oh, no.
Well, at least on that point, at least they do show Archer suffering throughout this episode in the Vulcan heat, and he is definitely affected by it. So they do make him appear human in that case. So they do get some things right in this episode, and it is really fun to watch. It's just also kind of stressful because of the whole Romulan influencing this Vulcan. And all the other Vulcans being like, okay, we're going to follow your orders. We kind of are questioning them a little bit, but we're doing it. And it takes until this moment right here when, I should know his name. He's basically the hero of this episode. One of them, anyway, is Kuvok. Is the guy who eventually stops Vloss, fortunately. And Last Son of K says, it also shows how good Combs is as an actor when he shows Shran experiencing vertigo periodically while recovering from having one of the antennae lopped off. Right, exactly. So if you lose your antennae as an Andorian, it's like losing your ear, it's like losing your sense of balance. Definitely. And that is, Combs is incredible. He's great in this episode too. So he pulls it out in terms of his emotions. He's really great at portraying his characters. And so I'm glad he plays so many characters for Star Trek. Burton shouldn't have been surprised. This is the melting pot, says Eric Carroll. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and Daniel's Hot Topic says, and the sad thing is that Shran would have joined the Enterprise crew in season 5 had season 5 been made. Wow. Really? That's really cool.
And we would have got
that would be an Andorian on the bridge.
And we would have got the upgraded Enterprise.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we would.
Well, that was designed, so
that'd be neat too.
They did work on it, and it exists. But yeah, they never showed it ever.
Well, not until
some
of the new stuff.
No, that didn't happen.
And they finally showed it.
Yeah, they did show it.
And I think you can buy models of those too.
Yeah, I have Eagle Moss of it.
Well, yeah, that's the only reason why any of the new stuff looks anything like how Star Trek should look is because of Doug Drexler and Mike Okuda. But it says a whole lot that they didn't put their names in the credits.
I have all 3 NX-01 Enterprises. Eagle Moss.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go on your channel and watch.
I've I've got the refit, I've got the regular, and then I have the Mirror Universe Eagle Moss. And
Oh, that's gonna be
Oh, you
neat.
do. That's pretty cool. The Mirror Universe episode for Enterprise is really good. We had a
Mhm.
show on that. We reviewed that one already, and that was pretty great. So you do get Ambassador for Forest again. So Darius Munchausen says, I call BS Scotty R37. Canadians don't buy milk in cartons. They buy it in bags. Canadian milk bags. Busted.
Parts of Canada do buy them in cartons. Parts buy them in bags.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'll
Some
keep mine.
Canadians just
Okay.
run out and suck it off the teeth.
Oh, do they just go straight up to a cow? And
Yep.
that's how they get it. Okay, I believe you. Oh,
I
wholeheartedly.
think that's how Captain Foley gets his milk for his cereal. He out milks the cow. Shoots it straight in the bowl.
Justin K says getting drunk from milk is technically possible since the sugars in the butter fats in milk can ferment. Unfortunately, it also makes milk unpalatable to drink, curdling in unsafe conditions. Interesting.
So we curdle it on purpose to get cottage cheese.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I realized I had a bad phrasing in terms of that, but Scotty
That's
wasn't here
another
to call me
reason
out
why I
on it.
love to join a Jill stream, because sometimes she has slip ups.
Mhm. You just never know what's gonna happen. But yes, finally, this guy, Kuvak, finally calls him out. And eventually, well, the best part of the episode is when Kuvak finally shoots, finally stuns Balas. So here's our space battle for this episode. It's just unbelievable seeing Vulcans being so violent. And they actually pretty much almost take down the Enterprise just until the last minute. The hull was starting to fail.
Yep, came pretty close.
It did. It was pretty close. Tell Archer that's 2 he owes me. And so of course that means Shran helped out and helped the Enterprise not be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And this woman is an anarchist, Captain. You can't trust her. She'd do anything to spread her devious beliefs. You've spent years trying to subvert me. But of course, they open the Kir'Shara and they see the truth. And so finally, Kuvak shoots Balas and to stop him from advancing menacingly onto our heroes. And finally, it took enough for Kuvak to finally grow a brain, but he finally made it in the end. I'm so proud of him for finally doing it. And Matt G gave $1. So thank you, Matt G, for the $1 super chat. Appreciate it. Taylor Swift is greater than nothing, said opines Daniel's Hot Topics. Oh wow.
I
Those
will
are
say
birds.
Galactica 80 is greater than Taylor Swift.
But there's hull breaches on the Enterprise, they're venting atmosphere, but then all the bombarding stops because, of course, Velas has been found out, defeated, and he's going to be investigated. And so then there is no interstellar war between Vulcan and Andoria. That's been averted. And oh man, Koss is such a sweetheart here. He's like, you know what? I know we just got married to help your mom. Your mom, uh, you know, is passed, so you don't have to be married to me if you don't want to. And And that he's the best. I don't know why he's so nice, but he does this, and that's it. I guess it's only logical. So that's pretty great. Archer is relieved of his katra that he's been carrying. And so the whole point of this episode is that the Vulcans are going to become what they are in TOS and TNG because of the events that begin here. And then of course we got the Romulans. The Romulan shows up. Your disappearance would cause suspicion. This is simply a minor delay. The reunification of our people is only a matter of time. And yeah, so we're back to the Romulans, and I feel the same way about this, about other retcons in the episode. It's really well done, and it explains how it explains how Vulcans have been behaving for all of the Enterprise series and a little bit better. But now we have Romulans in contact with Vulcans when they're supposed to be completely estranged until Balance of Terror. And that's why Spock is so shocked to see a Vulcan to see a Romulan look like him. This is all supposed to be unknown, but here's this Romulan hanging out. And so I guess Scotty R37's theory is that Balas was never a Vulcan at all. He's also a Romulan, which is interesting.
And probably very few Vulcans even knew the Romulans were around.
Mm. Well, I would hope not, because that would suck if they did.
So that would explain why Spock wouldn't know. He
Yeah,
had no idea.
Yeah, it's supposed to be unknown. But overall, I mean, some of the retcon stuff is kind of unavoidable when you really want to get into the lore of something that happens later, but bringing it back into the history. So overall, I did enjoy these episodes and the attempt to reconcile the Vulcans of Enterprise in the 22nd century with how they end up in the 23rd century when they follow Serac a little more closely. And of course, Gary Graham was incredible in all of it. I loved his character in this episode. And what's happening? I'm receiving a communication that I don't understand. Okay, anyway. Thank you, Mad G, for that super chat earlier. And if anybody has anything else they want to share about Gary Graham, let me know. And I hope we shared some of what he did today, and because that's all I want to do is enjoy what he's given us, and I'll continue to do that. I'm gonna have to watch Alien Nation. I'll have to watch this Robot Jocks movie. I think that's probably what I'll do first, because the movie is a little less of an investment than the TV series.
There was also like 5 movies after the TV series.
Oh, well, there you go. Oh, the TV series is just one season, so it really isn't that much of a commitment.
Yeah, 22 episodes there, and then you got like 5 movies afterwards to watch.
Definitely. So Last K says, but to make cottage cheese, the curdling is done in sterile conditions. Oh. Well, okay. So they are talking about alcohol here. That's cool. There's an alcoholic milk beverage called kumis, an old tradition from Turks and Turco-Mongols. The Mongols call it arag or tzgigi. I probably mispronounced all of that. I would have liked to see the NX-01 get the shield upgrade, but it did not happen. Mr. Miles says, it would be illogical to give up Jolene Blaylock as a wife. You know what? Yeah, that does make sense. But
I would technically give her up for T'Pring, though.
I think it was very nice for him to do that because I guess it wasn't done out of actually needing to be together if for any reason. So
Got
he,
the
except for
Ginger
to help
Menace is
it,
here.
his mom. Hey, hello to Mary. Hey, Mary, the Ginger Menace. It's lovely to see you too. The Romulan story arc would have been fleshed out in season 5. The best things never happen. So what we just saw, that was going to be expanded on. It sounds good. I want to see that. But, maybe it's for the best. I don't know. They might have messed some stuff up. Keep Moving says, I love listening to these streams. So therapeutic. Love.
Yeah, I caught the reference there, Mr. Miles.
Thank you. Keep Moving. The word you're looking for is crime, not illogical.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that makes sense, Franco. From your perspective, yeah, I can see what you're saying now. I thought it was a really generous thing to do, though. Last Son of K says, thank you, Darius, for the info on that. Didn't know that before. I was just going on the assumption of a regular person allowing unrefrigerated milk to sit at room temperature to ferment. Okay. That sounds gross.
Yeah, it does.
Hello, Wes Cagle. You met him? Awesome. Good for you. Yeah, I did. I was okay. So at the start of the show, I did talk about meeting Gary Graham. He's amazing. He is awesome. He was really cool. He just wanted to hang out with the fans. He didn't corner himself off and hide himself away. He just hung out with us like he is a fan, because he is a fan. He loved his work, and he's really great.
Sure is.
He liked to share. Oh, speaking of sharing, I was going to share something. So let me know.
It's Karen.
Hey, Wes Cagle.
Yeah, hey, welcome back. We finished the episode.
Oh no, he's
Whatever.
back.
Did they win?
Yeah, they won.
Yay!
Kuvok stunned the loss, and everybody was happy.
And there was much rejoicing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ginger Menace. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, like Franco Walker says, Gary will be missed, but we have so many great performances to watch, and there's so many I haven't seen.
You're right.
Achilles!
The movies kind of fill out what the rest of the series would have been if it had continued. Oh, the alienation. That makes sense.
Well, and yeah, like in his contributions to the fan series, I think that that's why I put him in the ranking for like who's the best Vulcan. And I think, like, I don't know, I have personal preferences, but I think he was really good at being a Vulcan.
He was, because he took it as an actor, he took it very seriously. I want to play this video.
Please.
But I didn't create this video. This is the video created by Trek Yards, so I want to respect their work.
They're great.
And
you should
they are great.
Go subscribe to Trek Yards.
One fires me all the time, and the other hires me back just to annoy the first one.
Right. So I'm not going to share the whole thing out of respect to them. So I think I have some timestamps I'm going to go through.
If you want me to go punch Captain Foley, I live close to him.
No, just swat him on the butt and tell him it's from Deej, and he'll know.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then I'll get arrested. That sounds like a fun time.
No, I got a better thing. How about pineapple pizza delivered to him?
Oh, 2 from Pizza.
Yeah, there you go. That'll get him, and then I'll be fired again.
All right. You know, after a while, you get used to getting fired.
Bone, you ought to see it. I've got actual video I use for my closer of my shows of Foley firing me and calling me an asshole.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. I'm subscribed to you. Everyone should subscribe to Deej Odyssey.
I am.
Well, if you get rehired, then I guess it's okay.
Cockings rehired me on their last drunk stream.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Just because I annoyed fully, so that's why he rehired me. It's kind of the comical back and forth.
Thank you to
You share
Ginger
this?
Menace for becoming a new member.
Very good.
Oh my
Welcome.
goodness. Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you to the Ginger Menace for becoming a member at the Series Superstars level. We're going to be having a membership stream on February 7th at noon.
I
on
am
Wednesday.
really hoping that I will renew my membership by then.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
LDG, where are you? We need a bunch of memberships dropped.
Until the day of shooting. And by the way, when I went in and auditioned, I just took a shot at it. I just took a crack at it. Yeah. And because I'd auditioned for Star Trek several times, and the same people in the room, and they didn't hire me, so I figured I wasn't destined to be on a Star Trek series. So I went in, and when I found out I got it, I go, "Oh, that's great. Who am I anyway?"
Who am I anyway?
Which one do I have to be this time?
Yeah.
That's
And-
amazing.
So I'm all in costume and I'm in makeup, and they're shooting the filming the pilot, and I'm just about to go on, and Rick Berman is wandering around the set, and I go, "Rick, how are you? Thanks for hiring me." He goes, "You look like a Vulcan. That's great." I said, "Well,
Mhm.
I'm not sure if I feel like a Vulcan. Could you tell me who I am?" Because
With that face, with that sort of smiling face.
pretty
or-
much smiling, and I because it was hard to tell him. Right, too late to fire me. And
Too
Yeah.
late to fire me. Love it. I'm wearing all the prosthetics. You can't kick me out now.
take that as my lead, but I need a little more. And,
Yeah.
and I see you just before we're filming. Can you give me anything? He puts his arm around me and walks me around the soundstage outside, and he tells me about the backstory of the Vulcans and how they're far from having no emotions. They're mercurial, very emotional,
Hang on.
explosively emotional, and they realized for
What does mercurial mean? Do I have
That's
to
a
look it
big
up?
word.
I
Highly
know.
passionate.
Well, yeah, passionate. Yes. Yeah. I think that's it. Passionate sounds right. That they changed, that they're
Oh,
unpredictable.
having mercurial, the third definition from American Heritage Dictionary says having the characteristics of eloquence, shrewdness, swiftness, thievishness, and attributed to the god of Mercury, which is very interesting because when you are thinking about the history of Vulcan, don't forget there is a phantom planet that is on the other side of the sun constantly that has been theorized since the earliest days of astronomy of being the planet Vulcan. And it is supposed to be one of the planets in our solar system that we have never observed because it's always on the opposite side of the sun.
Not true. I took my egg around the sun
Yeah.
on the opposite
Yeah, that doesn't
direction. I never
exist.
found it.
But it's cute. That's a cute idea.
I've flown my egg. I have not found it. Yes, I'm related to Mork. Nanu, nanu.
Nanu, nanu.
Nanu.
That was the worst nanu, nanu I've ever heard. Anyway, Gary, please.
to preserve the species, keep from blowing themselves up, they'd have to learn how to sublimate their passions and all that. And they began a sort of a Zen way of approaching things, converting it to intellectual logic, reason. And I thought, oh, that is so much more interesting than what I had in mind.
Nice.
So much harder to. Oh my gosh, this is going to be. So I'm as nervous as I was. I'm triple nervous now, because oh my gosh, that I'm really going to have to experience these emotions on a deep level, and then put a cap on them. And
Yeah, that's Vulcan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got it. He got it just talking to Rick Berman for 15 minutes. He freaking got it quick.
So I had my work cut out for me the first day, but it seemed to work because they brought me back, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
start being given the the talk on online.
It's so interesting to hear. Like, obviously, the prototypical Vulcan is Leonard Nimoy, and everyone else is sort of following in his footsteps. And it's fascinating to hear other actors who have performed Vulcans and how they took it to heart, for lack of a better term. It's so interesting, just in a performance perspective.
Well, definitely. And I'll share a little more. I'm not sharing the whole thing because I want to make sure to.
Oh, you're already copyright struck. You're gonna.
Well,
get in so much
I'm
trouble.
hopefully that Treyarch doesn't mind me sharing some of this interview because so much of it is so good. I hope that Treyarch is okay with me sharing this because I just want to honor Gary, and this is such a great interview. If
It
you
is.
want to hear the whole thing, I will put the link in the description below for you to check out later. And
Yeah,
hopefully
please.
this is okay.
Fully release the claim,
Please.
or I will come on your stream shirtless.
Oh no.
Oh no!
This new Vulcan, who's just a little too human. He's not really being like a Vulcan in certain spots, and
Not a bad
I
one.
liked hearing that. No, I
Yeah.
liked hearing that. Ordinarily, I wouldn't, but because of the line in the scene with Scott Bakula where I raise my voice and everyone stops and turns and looks at me, and Bakula says, "Raising your voice to make a point, you have been on Earth too long."
Yeah.
Humiliated, and I take it all in. Do it very subtly, but at that point, I'm just embarrassed as all get out, humiliated and angry, and I'm suppressing all this as I turn and wheel off. And I thought that's really the key to the relationship of Soval to the humans. He distrusts them. He's sort of above them, but he's been on Earth too long. It's starting to bleed through. Yeah. So
I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and let's not forget, like, Sarek was the ambassador to Earth, and his logic bled into humanity so much that he married a human woman.
Yes, he did.
Actually, more than one human woman.
True. But fuck Perrin. Sorry about the swear.
Damn it, Scotty.
Sorry. I don't
I
like
had a-
Perrin. I'm more of an Amanda guy myself.
I
like
had
his
a-
first wife.
Hello?
Hello.
I had a request in the chat from Franco Walker
Uh-oh.
to put a link to the interview. So here's the
Absolutely.
interview with Gary Graham. Yeah, because I'm not going to play the entire thing. So if
No.
anybody wants to watch that later.
initially, I was just hired for the pilot. I just was hired for it was a one-off, and I said, well, let me think. For me to be a regular here or a semi-recurring regular, I'm going to have to be a worthy foil for Archer. I'm going to have to be there, right there, to throw sand in the gears and thwart whatever plan he has, because I don't trust the humans, and I think they're just not ready. They're just not ready.
Yeah.
And they need my guidance to keep them from doing whatever they're going to
You're a
do.
good father.
Interesting.
His intimate knowledge. Like, I am such a fan of performance in acting. And it's like the process fascinates me because I don't know if I'd be able to do it. I don't know, like, I've been given scripts before, not for me to perform, but I have to read them and then interpret the performance myself. And I don't know if I would be able to do that. And so the imaginative and the interpretive mind is like the talent that this takes just as a profession, and specifically with Gary Graham sort of being inquisitive to find out, okay, so I'm a Vulcan, whatever. What am I doing? Like, am I just cold? Is that the whole thing I have to do? And then to be given direction and incorporate that into the character that you've brought to set. Like it's so fluid. It's so interesting to me. And
Acting
I'm
seems simple in concept, but it's really very complicated in practice. And
yeah.
you're right, it does take talent. And Gary's got it.
But I saw a potential in Soval for such a curmudgeon he started out to be. I saw a potential for him to come to appreciate or tolerate and eventually appreciate and even love the humans in a Vulcan way and gain respect for them over the arc. So I tried to delay that process, but I see the writers were going in that direction. I tried to fight against it every step of the way in my character. But
Which
while
way Vulcan?
yes, right.
That is a very good, very astute observation. You were doing it like a Vulcan, and I'm glad that Gary agreed.
Growing up with humans and with Vaughn Armstrong and eventually Archer as well. My favorite spot, and all this is revealed when I'm being tortured
Good
by
scene.
Jeff Combs, the Andorian.
You had fun.
I had a well. If you call torture and
I do.
emotional turmoil,
I do.
you do. So do I. give
There
an
are
actor
4
that
lights.
rope, he's gonna climb Everest. So that's where I was at. That was a hell of a day. That was an entire day in that setup,
Oh.
and it was exhausting, but so gratifying.
So I'm not going to play this entire
No,
segment
this
of
is
what he
no,
says
you gotta
about the Enterprise.
yeah, no,
But
ship design goes straight to Trek Yards. Go check
most
out
of
Trek
it,
Yards.
but I kind of like this part though.
All right.
Yeah, I
you
do
will.
check out Trek Yards, but I'm not playing the whole thing. But there's just this bit
You've been saying that for
because
about
I
15
didn't.
minutes.
I
Yeah.
know.
It's an
You
asteroid.
went through
I'm
most of
flying
this.
there, out in space, and I see these big sweeping shots of this beautiful spaceship come sweeping through in a bank. And I'm a pilot. I fly airplanes. We do banks too, but we're in air. That's an aeronautical function to bank in a turn. You don't need to bank when you're out in space.
Well, so you just do a turn there, would you?
Yeah.
I do like him getting technical with that. As a pilot, I didn't realize he was a pilot, which was really cool to learn in this interview.
Yeah, it is.
And then
Oh.
I'll stop here.
Such a talent.
Pilot the Enterprise and get blown to shit. So
You did.
that's always good.
You
Yeah.
rebelled. You got killed.
Yeah, it was great. Well, that was
I would love to be blown to shit on the Enterprise.
Yeah, and that
No comment.
Come on.
I know while you're going there, Scotty. I'm not.
well, you don't have to
gonna-
actually go there because everybody knows
Oh.
what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
Good.
Change course. 125 Mark 6 now. Warp 2.
Here it comes.
Yeah, and thanks again to Mary the Ginger Menace for becoming a member. That's so cool.
It is really
How
good.
about some Metallica tonight? Says Eric Carroll to Wes Cagle.
Oh,
Scotty
Metallica.
Tuvok. Oh, Mr. Miles says Tuvok is the best Vulcan.
I'm kind of on Mr. Miles' side.
No.
Really?
Yeah,
I am.
Tuvok's was better.
I love Spock forever, but okay.
I know,
Tuvok's
but
is better.
I've had this thing for a long time where it's like, who's your favorite James Bond? And you can't say Sean Connery. It's the same thing as who's your favorite Vulcan, but you can't say Spock.
Well, that's
Well,
really
you
easy.
never
It's
asked
Roger
me,
Moore.
like, you never asked me
No.
the question like that.
And
Roger
so,
Moore.
like, who's your favorite Vulcan? Well, then I'll ask you now, Jill. Who's your favorite Vulcan? And you can't say Spock.
I can't say Spock. Hey, Mr. Miles, being half Vulcan doesn't discount him from being Vulcan because when he was 7, he chose to be Vulcan. So that means he's Vulcan. And
Yeah,
so-
I could be controversial with one of my favorite Vulcans.
Valeris. Is it Valeris?
Oh,
Oh
Cyborg.
God.
I like Cyborg.
Oh, I'm a big Cybok fan, dude. I'm on your side.
Cyborg would be a cool Vulcan to hang out with because he has emotion and he seems like he'd be a party animal.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
He would pawn far all over your face,
Yeah.
neck, and chest.
I don't know. I like T'Pol. I like where she goes and where she ends up and how she becomes part of the crew. So I love Tuvok too, though. So it's tough to choose between those two.
Well,
Oh,
and that's the
'cause-
thing is that I don't like I love Gary. I love the contribution to entertainment that he provided, and I'm forever grateful
Oh,
for
right.
getting.
That's this live stream. Gary is my favorite Vulcan.
Well, no, don't pander. Like
No, I'm not.
I'm saying, like when it comes to Vulcans, if I have to say my number one Vulcan
I'm just
with a
kidding.
bullet, it's obviously
Mhm.
Spock. It's obviously the
Yes.
performance by Leonard Nimoy. It is who
Oops.
everyone else who plays a Vulcan follows.
Mhm.
But when it comes to who are my top 5 Vulcans, Soval is probably number 5.
And that's
Oh.
pretty high up there still.
The
It
ball is my
is.
number 3.
T'Pol is 3. That makes sense. Who's your 2?
The ball is 3.
Is it
T'Pol
Tuvok?
would
Is
be
Tuvok
2.
your 2?
No, Tuvok's not even on my list.
Oh, well then you're weird.
I'd rather hang out with Tuvix than I would Tuvok.
Oh my God, don't worry about that. Janeway will kill her.
I
Him.
know it.
Okay, Mr. Miles, this argument doesn't work because Michael Burnham is not in any way Vulcan ever. Like Spock is Vulcan.
Nope.
He's got a Vulcan dad. He's got a human mom. It works.
Yeah,
being
Michael
a hybrid
Burnham-
doesn't mean you're not Vulcan.
No, I would. It's so strange.
It just means you're half. Yeah.
Like Amanda Grayson
Mhm.
married a Vulcan and was not as weirded out by the culture clash that was human and Vulcan. But Michael
Mhm.
Burnham, raised by a woman who fell in love with a Vulcan, was distant. How is that a thing? Like how is it that she was raised by a woman who loved a Vulcan and still sort of imbued her with a distance between Vulcan and human? It doesn't make sense as a character.
Because it doesn't
Michael
make sense.
Burnham.
Yeah, no,
Michael
he's
Burnham is
not.
one of the worst characters.
Spock had no sister.
No.
Mr. Miles says, I've got Neanderthal ancestors. Doesn't mean I can choose to be one, but there's a completely different percentage rate. There's like less than 1%, way, way less than 50%.
Ugh. I don't even know.
I just never thought that I was going to be in a chat with someone telling me Spock is not Vulcan.
Princess Fiona hates Tuvok.
Tuvok is the galaxy's most incompetent Vulcan, at least.
I'm on Princess Fiona's side there.
All right.
Really? No, I really like Tuvok, but dang.
I'm a big fan of Tuvok.
Okay. You know what? I'm reviewing Voyager in the chat at the Clobberin Times channel, so I can understand where Princess Fiona is coming from. Fan fiction doesn't count, so Michael Burnham doesn't count. Right on, Princess Fiona. And giving it the title of fan fiction is even too much. It's more like the opposite of fan fiction. What is that?
Well, oh, my stars.
Exactly.
Nothing unreal exists. And my only problem with the 735 Club is that you know, just as a mature adult, you do have to accept that information exists. And so while I understand that there is a distaste for New Trek, you still, as a grown-up, have to see the observable world.
No, I don't.
That
I do the exact same thing as when I did with Doctor Who.
Oh,
Star Trek ended at Enterprise. Doctor Who ended at
I disagree.
Capaldi.
well, see,
I love Star Trek too much to dismiss it.
Were there people who decided to take the Star Trek name and decide not to make Star Trek? Yes. I don't like
peas. I won't eat them. Well, how can you have your pudding if you don't eat your meat?
They didn't make peas. They made garbage infested salami.
Hmm.
I like peas,
Uh,
especially if they're cream peas.
Well, that's the grossest thing I've ever heard.
peas are actually fine. Yeah.
No,
don't know
peas
what's
are
wrong.
gross.
Peas are
Well, it
good.
depends. Like if they're from the can, they're not that good. But fresh peas,
No, I just don't like
They're
them in
fine.
general. They're
Put them
green.
in mashed potatoes. They're really good.
I don't like the text. What?
Put
No.
them in tuna noodle casserole. They're really
I
good.
am never coming over to your house for food.
Never know what
Feed
you're gonna
you
be
peas
eating,
every
huh?
day.
I know what I'm going to be eating. It's going to be mushy peas.
Mushy peas or ramen
Ooh.
noodles.
I will be right back in a minute, and we'll
Oh, I was
probably
going to
wrap
go
up
too, but
pretty
never
soon.
mind. I got to stick around here.
Well, just for a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Wash your hands.
She beat you to the draw there, Scotty.
She did. She did. And also, let's be fair. I've been smoking too much.
You've already took like 3 breaks.
Whatever. I thought you guys could talk. Everyone gets all mad at me for interrupting. And then when I leave, they're like, why isn't Scott here? And it's like, well,
I've
I
been
thought you
having to
liked it
go
when
to
I
the
shut up.
bathroom for 2.5 hours now, but I haven't
Oh.
left.
Well, all right. Well, you're a good man. Your constitution is classy.
I've trained my bladder well after all those years of drinking.
Oh, I thought you were talking about pooping.
No, not that one.
All right. Number 2.
That number 1 is this morning. That's
Oh,
morning.
good for you. Anyway, welcome to the Gary Graham appreciation, where we talk about poop. Is there something like I really do? Hey, Bird of Prey. Hello.
Bed life
Hey.
will be late today.
Yeah, bed life
Right.
will be late today, says Bird of Prey 5. Sorry,
Is that
can't be helped.
Is that
Okay.
because of pooping?
No, I bet
Well,
he's going to
it's
get
possible.
felt up by a masseuse. Physical therapy.
Nice.
Therapy. Okay, that makes more sense.
That's just my
Well,
guess. I don't know if it's the truth. I'm just guessing.
Why am I not the one bringing up happy endings? I don't think we should.
Happy endings for what?
Nothing. No, never mind. Let's
Bad
not.
information exists. If the show wasn't made by grown-ups, no need for a grown-up to acknowledge it. That's a fair point. It was
Oh,
made
no
by
need for no. I understand where you're coming from, Princess Fiona. I get it, but it's also like when I think about Star Wars, I think about the Droids animated television show and the Ewoks animated television show. Even the Ewoks live action movies, like these are bad aspects of classic Star Wars that I think
don't you go against the holiday special.
Oh, Sindel. Like, I understand where you're coming from, but I just want it to be acknowledged. Exactly. No, you're absolutely right in terms of the holiday special. Like, I just want the bad Star Trek to be acknowledged. Again, I'm a big fan of schlock. I'm a big fan
it
of...
exists, but
Yes.
it doesn't have any right
Doesn't mean you have
to really
doesn't mean you have to
be
fall asleep on a
integrated with.
bonfire.
Yeah, it's like it's if you're talking about good Star Trek, it really doesn't add much to the conversation to talk about it in terms of like the actual lore, because then you're just mixing
But
real Star
moving-
Trek with disrespectful Star Trek.
moving forward with Star Trek, like there's been this thing that they've been talking about, or at least I recently read about it, is that Skydance is trying to amalgamate with Paramount, and so there may be new ownership with
Is okay, so does that mean that we're gonna lose Secret Hideout?
No, I don't know that.
Because
But
that's the only solution that would work.
Right.
Yeah,
and
but-
I know your distaste for Secret Hideout. I share it. But my question is, do you think that whatever they presented in the bullshit era of New Trek, like, I don't want it to be retconned. Do you want it to be retconned?
Yeah, all of it was just a holodeck simulation. It's someone's bad idea.
I think that's childish.
It would be useful and helpful, because then we could go back to the end of Voyager and actually start off where it's supposed to be.
Let me put it this way.
Please.
Let me put it this way. Even though it could fall under control of somebody else, you have to look at it that it could end up being even worse, because you just got to look at what Doctor Who is right now. Everybody had high hopes when Russell T Davies was coming back. I said, don't hold your breath. It'll probably get worse. And it did.
Oh,
Yeah, well, you do have conclusive evidence as far as Doctor Who goes. And of
So
course,
Star
I
Trek
like
could
to.
be the same thing. It could get even worse
So
than it
you
is
could
now.
say they take Star Trek away from Kurtzman finally, but it's still given to somebody who messes it up.
but there's been like with who was
It's
the
possible.
showrunner on Picard season 3? What was that guy's name?
Metalis?
Metalis.
Oh,
There,
that
Terry.
guy. Ugh.
Well,
Don't even
he
get me
seems
started
to have
on
an
that.
affection. Like
He has an
Don't get me
affection
started
for
on that.
he has an affection for the movies, but not so much the TV show. He kind of gets a ton of stuff.
Season
completely
3 of
wrong.
Picard was garbage.
Yeah,
it was better than
it
Nemesis.
was.
No, I
It
would
was
say
not.
Nemesis
It was not
is
better
better
than
than
Nemesis.
season 3.
It was.
Nemesis.
You guys aren't going to change my mind, so we can just keep going.
You're not going to change my mind either. Season 3
Yeah,
of
that's fine. We
Picard
can
was
just sit in our
absolute
separate
garbage
squares.
too.
No, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of two pieces of garbage, I prefer one garbage over the other.
Oh, so many things piss me off about Picard.
Yeah, more
fact
things
that-
piss me off about Picard than piss me
That's
off, but
fine.
because Nemesis is just 3 hours of bad. This is 10.
Come
Yeah,
on
but
now.
you
Who the
get
hell is
Ro.
supposed to believe that a or Klingon cloaking device would still be on a bird of prey at a museum? It would not be there. That would have been locked
Why
up in
not?
some Federation facility.
Why?
Just
Why
for
is
the
Yeah.
that
simple
Oh,
thing?
yeah.
fact
And the museum
somebody could
doesn't.
steal it.
Right, and the museum has no
It's a
security
Federation
when they
facility.
go when
They have
go.
defenses.
No, there were no defenses. There was
No, there were no defenses to Commodore LaForge because he was a Commodore. There was no reason, like, if you
But
wanted to go,
no one was there. No one was there. It was a ghost town.
that is not what we're discussing. I agree with you.
Shelby, as much as she was against the Borg, do you really think she would have thought it was a good idea to link all Starfleet vessels
No, she wouldn't
together?
have. Agreed. She would not have done that. Agreed. Still better than the
Yeah,
Doom
it's a-
buggy
it's a
where they indiscriminately shot native aliens.
A fat Enterprise D actually flying through a Borg vessel the way it did,
So bad.
Well, those aliens weren't
So
that
bad.
friendly.
especially when they had the freaking captain's yacht that they could have detached and done the whole thing.
No, but they had to do it. They had to do it. Like, and my good friend over at Cinema Gulp, like, and they've done it. It's online. If it's sabotage by Beastie Boys.
Kirk's
During
body being at a Starfleet facility instead of actually being buried on Earth where it belonged.
So many people were angry about the fact that he was just under a pile of rocks on top of a mountain. They needed to know where he eventually wound up. And
So
they
now
made
he's studied in Section
they
31.
made a bad call. I'm not saying this is good. I'm just saying it's better than Nemesis, which is very much the
But
bottom of
I
the
don't
barrel.
think so, because Star Trek Picard did lots of disrespect for Star Trek, more than Nemesis could ever dream to accomplish. So Star
I
Trek
disagree.
made-
I disagree.
Star
Star
Trek
Trek Nemesis is the bottom of the barrel.
it kind of makes Starfleet look stupid, but Picard makes them look sinister and evil. So it's a difference.
Insurrection already did that.
And I think it's way worse than Nemesis, because Nemesis didn't.
But is it like the intentions of the Federation are already undermined in Star Trek Insurrection?
Nemesis didn't retroactively make the Federation more passively compliant to the actions of Section 31. Star Trek Picard did that.
Oh, well, and I don't like any reference to Section 31 outside of Deep Space Nine.
And here's another thing. The whole season 3 dealt with the Borg. Where the hell was Girardi Borg?
I know. I was curious about that too.
Y'all actually agree on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's stupid.
The whole
I'm not
season
saying
was
it's
stupid
good.
as hell.
Yeah, totally. It's still better than Nemesis.
But yeah, no, the Section 31 is the biggest thing, and you don't like that part, but that is that is a huge thing. They give them a Daystrom Institute to perform torture on war criminals on top of the illness that was spread to the changelings.
Well, I don't want to get into this argument because I know it's something that we have an impasse on, you and I, Jill.
Well, yeah, but not only that, they nerfed everything cool about the changelings. The changelings barely change, and in season 3, they're just humans, but they supposedly hate humans, and yet that's what they change into. And they don't change into a dog. They don't change into a cup. They don't do any of the cool things Odo did, except have a bucket, even though that was Odo's thing. That didn't make any sense. So you have Borg, who don't have any of the implants because it's supposedly just in their blood or something. Some dumb transporter shit.
It was an evolved assimilation, which I'm okay with.
Star Trek Picard season 3 is dark. It has death. It has despair. It's more Murder Trek. And if you like it, that's fine. I just don't have a good time.
Well, it's better than Nemesis. Like,
okay, you're right. We're at an impasse. Oh, hey.
I don't mean to be rude, but I am.
Sorry, I couldn't be with you today. Hadn't seen the episode, so I didn't have time to prepare. Hope it was a good stream. I think it was all right. I think it was great. It was a good episode showing the turmoil of being Vulcan in terms of how to reconcile the Vulcans kind of being jerks in Enterprise and how they evolve into the Vulcans that we see in later iterations.
Oh, I like where Eric Carroll's head is at. Picard and Nemesis are equally trash. Let's leave it at that. I will agree.
Well, it's the equally part that I don't agree with.
Right?
But
because
they're both trash. Yeah.
I would go back and watch Nemesis before I'd watch any of the Picard seasons.
Dude, you know what? And I specifically asked my sister to get me the complete series of Picard on Blu-ray, and she correctly only got me the DVDs because I didn't need it in complete HD. And I've been rewatching it, and I have had such of a speed bump on season 2 because no matter how much I love John Delancey, I can't watch that show. But I'm really looking forward once I get through it, and it is a oath that I made to myself that I would watch it all in order. But I have definitely hit a tumble with season 2. But when I get to season 3, I'm looking forward to seeing it in earnest, knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah, I never made it past episode 3 of season 2. That was the end of it for me. I only watched.
That's where I'm stalled.
I only watched season 3 to talk about it with you on the Phantasmagorium.
But it exists. I kind of want to watch it, and also I like seeing the Big Seven get back together. It's like, you know what? I would say that Star Trek Picard season 3 is pretty much on par with The Muppets Take Manhattan. That's my pop culture.
I haven't seen that,
but I thought that was fun.
It's not good.
It's not fun. No, it's good, just in terms of the artistry, but it's not a fun time if you're a fan of the Muppets. It's very depressing when you watch the Muppets Take Manhattan.
Princess Fiona says that cube would have to be Death Star sized. Why am I not surprised?
Oh yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Princess Fiona, no argument. The scale of things completely warped.
The cube was like what, a fourth the size of Jupiter?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, well, it was in the spot. I think it was in the Jupiter's spot. No cat puns intended. Jill, do we have to get out of here soon?
I do. My back teeth are floating and I want a nap. I'm getting old.
Well, I'm going to go and dabble in my...
Oh. Don't tell us what you're dabbling in. We don't want to know.
Well, it's going to be moist. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
I had to step away for a second, but I just want to say Star Trek Picard season 3 sucks.
And I say it doubly sucks.
And you're saying you have.
But I'm still saying it's better than Nemesis.
PvP has a different opinion. Nemesis wasn't great, but not as bad as many say. It was way better than. Oh, he thinks it's better than Picard season 3, and so do I.
Well, PvP,
And
you
it's
know,
not as
I'm going
bad
to.
as Picard season.
I look forward to having a Star Trek: The Next Generation conversation with you at some point to qualify what you're saying. But yeah, totes.
I'll
I
even
gave a
say
lot of
this.
reasons. Deej gave a lot of reasons.
I
Yeah,
had
but
a
I'm
hell of
the
a
only
lot
one who's
more list
right.
on that whole season. What
I
pissed
had
me
more
off
too.
made it. I mean, come on. Let's just go with Warp real quick.
Mhm.
Completely white hair at Warp stage? No. Kang and Koloff still had dark hair, and they were well older than Worf would have been at this point.
Also, Worf is not a backstabber.
Worf has
Alright.
honor. He wouldn't
Yeah,
have
he
fought
has
like he
honor.
did.
He didn't. He exactly. And he would have a phaser. Like he would use a phaser also in conjunction with
No, that's
his atlas.
incorrect.
If you can stun somebody, that's what a Starfleet officer would do. And he's Starfleet officer first.
I disagree with your assessment of his character.
You think he just only ever uses his
I
atlas?
think that
He
if
never
I think that if
has a
he
phaser ever.
no, but I think that if Worf showed up and he knew that there was a den of criminals attacking a Starfleet operative, that he would go in and be like, "You cannot kill them. I will make sure that
Huh?
their honor is preserved." So I think that Worf's backstabbing, no, he was stopping a person from murdering someone else.
I'm sorry, I had to step away again.
Yeah.
But
No, I accept your
What-
apology. Thank
no,
you.
I didn't hear your reasoning, so I can't respond to it, unfortunately.
That's very convenient. I appreciate
It
that.
is convenient. I didn't mean for it to happen that way. But
No, I
I'm
know.
sure
But
I don't agree with whatever it is.
how are you? Yeah, no, I know you don't agree. I'm aware of this.
Why can't he use a phaser? I don't understand. Like
Because
I was hoping there was like something on the planet that says, "Oh no, you can't use this phaser because of some kind of ion interference, some stupid." But they didn't even do that.
Worf killed people who were about to kill an innocent person,
And
and I think that that's in character.
what? No, okay. That guy, he wasn't going to kill anybody. He was just standing there.
He was going to
stupidly
kill
around.
Raffi.
He didn't.
I don't care how bad you hate
He had
Raffi.
he had a butter knife with him. He wasn't going to kill anybody.
Who are you talking about? The Klingon, or sorry, the Ferengi?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Ferengi.
Fuck that Ferengi. Sorry about the swear.
I hated Raffi so much.
I don't like Raffi either.
I hated her so
She's
much
just
that
an
when she
idiot.
propped up in that first episode of Dead City, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to stop watching this show if she's in it. But then she got fed to a walker, so it was like, okay, that's cool.
Why a spoon, cousin? 'Cause it would hurt more. Thank you, Canadian
The
Spider-Man.
changelings turned up and the Borg disappeared. What? Yeah.
Oh no, it was so
And
stupid.
if the Borg if she was trapped, clear out in the middle of nowhere, how the hell did she get in contact with the changeling in the first place?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. There is no communication between the Borg and another species. The way that the Borg communicate with species is through assimilation. So
that
no,
made absolutely no sense.
Mr. Miles is on your side. Scotty, Arthur 7.
Thanks.
You'd like to know? I'm sure.
Well, and other
Connie is
opinions
too.
are valid.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, no, I was just curious about the time. Are you free as a bird?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna go through the chat and I'll see you guys later pretty soon. And I hope we did a good job for Gary. We did talk a bunch about Star Trek Picard. We didn't exactly keep on topic the entire time, but I hope we did something good in terms of remembering Gary Graham, because it meant a lot to me to meet him, because he's a guy who just wanted to. He's just cool, and I don't know, he's down to earth kind of cool guy. and I enjoyed meeting.
Mr. Miles is going to get you on one comment because the Borg did communicate with other species.
Because they needed to, and it was the other species' idea.
Oh yeah, right. When they communicate with Janeway. Mhm.
Hmm. Well,
I would fail my grad student for having such an opinion, but only because I can't bat with them. Yeah.
I give 2 minutes
All
for
right.
you and your gallant crew.
Damn Cleon.
Well,
Killed my son.
well, I do appreciate you being here today to talk about Gary. Scotty
Who?
R37, could you please tell us what you're doing around on the internet and what you want to share?
Oh my God, I'm hideous. Uh,
Damn Borg.
Yeah, well, you put up the avatar.
Scotimus of Borg. Resistance is ticklish.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm on at Scotty R37 on X, and doing. If you guys are fans of the Fargo television show, me and my good friend Kat have been talking about. We talked about season 1 of Fargo, season 5 of Fargo, and we just started on season 4 of Fargo. Of course, we saw the movie, so we're doing that. I hang out with Jill as much as possible, and you'll talk about that. And yeah, I'm an internet hobo. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, Deej
Oh
gets it.
man, what a face.
Oh, look at that punum.
Hello, I'm Eugene Bradford. I'm from the town of Salem. You might have last saw me disappearing in my time machine on Days of Our Lives. Somehow I became Q. Oh no, I'm just Deej.
You were the guy at the beginning of The Hand Who Rocks the Cradle.
Yeah, but see, I remember when John Delancey was actually on soap operas.
Good for you.
And that was his plot line. He disappeared from the show because he left in a time machine.
Really?
Nobody ever saw him again.
That's cool.
But I'm Deej. I go back and forth between random panels like this today, where we get in arguments over how crappy Picard was, or just other weird ass topics that we throw up. Or I'm playing 7 Days to Die, killing zombies. That's all me. It's just me.
Zombies. Woohoo.
Zombies. Gotta kill the zombies.
All right, Jim.
I think Gary did a lot for Star Trek. I mean, he played
Did.
Vulcan. He is all over the place on Star Trek. He did a great job, and he will be very well missed.
Agreed.
Yes, I agree. I agree that he won't be missed.
Commodore Productions. Well, I'm trying to get Boone Returns done. Probably spend the rest of the day on that, and my parts are done. Wish I can find some other actors kind of help me out here, but other than that, that's what I'll be doing. Just keep on working on my fan films, try to get all that stuff done. And thank you for the invite today.
I gotta thank you too, Commodore. You ate them beans and I've had the farts for the last hour.
Nice.
Go big.
Yeah, I try to do my best because Scotty's here.
Well, and I also want to thank the chat for joining us today. Thank you to Mary, Ginger Menace, and Princess Fiona, the
I believe it's called.
Dragon.
I think it's pronounced Ginger.
No, it's Ginger.
Oh, okay, my mistake.
Don Ranger Power was also here, as well as Taylor Swift, Greater Than Disney Star Wars and MCU. Dalek 451 says, good show. I needed something interesting to listen to. Thanks.
Would you like to share a link to the interesting thing that that you listened to?
PGA Bear said, we are the Borg. You will be annihilated. Resistance is futile, but welcome. Q invasion of Alpha Beta quadrants by 4,000 cubes. good book storyline.
Yeah, how many Borg cubes are there?
Why did you say annihilated instead of assimilated?
Autocorrect.
It autocorrected assimilated to annihilated.
Let's go with that. PJ Bear.
Oh, okay.
Let us know.
I read it as it was, so I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, totes.
Like maybe there's the time they actually say that where they're not interested in assimilating you. Oh, you know what? That's Picard season 3. Ugh. How did we get back to that? What the heck happened? Okay. Oh no, I didn't leave you out, Mr. Miles. You didn't upset me. I can appreciate varied opinions, and you do have them, and I enjoy them.
Yeah, Mr. Miles. If anybody's going to upset Jill, it'll be me.
Yeah, right. It'll be Scotty R37 who upsets me, not you. So yeah, no, I'm so glad that you're here. I remember the first time you showed up in my channel while I was playing The Longest Journey, and I thought that was so cool that you knew that game.
April Ryan is my dream lover.
She's pretty cool. Eric Carroll, Franco Walker was also here. Canadian Spider-Man too.
Spidey.
Yeah. And I'm going to mention Princess Fiona twice. Last Son of Kay. And Wes Cagle, Darius Munchausen. I know there were more. Who else do we have?
Well, Bird of Prey stopping by just to tell us that he'd be late today.
Right, Bird of Prey 5. Pleasant Valley
PvP?
Picker. Yeah. Actually, said his full name this time. Jim. Hey, you're in the panel. Also in
Raymond
the chat.
Feliciano.
Raymond was here.
The
Play
Reluctant
Nice was here.
Dragon.
Kronos was here.
Kronos,
He
of
was
course.
here.
Good point. I like
Clem
Kronos.
Fandango. Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango.
You know what? I completely missed Mark 357. He put an A in the chat. Wow.
Cool.
Yeah,
He
I'm
also
there with
said
the A. Totally
Allie.
with the A.
Two. A all the way. A plus.
Daniel's Hot Topics.
Of course, Daniel's Hot Topics, always with the news, always excited about stuff. So he has
And
good
now that
spirit.
I'm extremely worried about him because I think he's a homicidal maniac.
Yeah, but
Well,
come on.
That's why we're on the internet. So he can't get you through the wires.
You never know.
Did you
I'm
say
not,
last
I'm
on
not
the K?
saying I agree with you about your assessment of his nature.
Did you give a shout out to Last on a K?
I did, but you did it
Okay.
again. Thank
There
you.
we are. Poopus.
For sure.
Kronos.
Start a poop
Penny.
Uber. Yeah, there you go. Penny went to the store.
DJ Play Nice.
Mhm.
Classic
Oh, DJ
Comics.
Playnuts is here. I missed that. Also, Apex Comics at the very top of the show.
Nope.
So many comics.
All the comics.
We got more comics than issues.
21 people in chat.
Yeah. And wait,
And
now
I'd
that's
like
3
to
minutes.
I would like to thank our lovely host, Jill, for having us on.
Well, thank you.
She's a racist against Ocampans.
Well,
So-
I am, but
We'll
I
let her slide on that one.
that's why
Really?
I'm glad. That's why I'm glad that
Well,
Gary
it only
came back.
lasts what, 3 years, and
As
they're
a
all
Vulcan.
gone anyway. So
7 years.
Yeah, I guess. It's a problem
Yeah,
you
I
can
don't know
ignore
why
because it'll
you're-
eventually die.
I don't know why you're so worried about them.
Well, because
Oh,
you know,
just got a
Cass is
super
cute.
chat.
I feel like a Neelix. Anyway, Admiral Terrier Tiberius Mork for Norwegian Kroner, 20 of them, says Jill. No, unmute and then read it.
I am Tamork of Borg, and I support the Jill. You support, yeah. Thank you so much for the support. So, what should I play? I should play a video for you, Terry. Don't know what.
I only use it for medicinal purposes.
That's green.
There you go.
Right, folks. I only use.
It's a goddamn weird ass place we work in, let me tell you.
I only
Demand it. I demand it.
trying to use this for my medicinal purposes.
There you go.
Oh, I didn't mean to trigger that.
Whoever said the human race was logical?
Normally I just play one video, but
Now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
Booze Trek, says the Reluctant Dragon.
Hi, have you been a member of this channel for a while? Hi, I'm Scott ER37. Scott ER37. And I provide the inebriation for the channel. If you would like to join me, please, each day that we have an anti-derivative Jill stream, you can come and drink with me while others admonish. So don't feel bad. If you are under the influence, I'm way ahead of you.
Well, thanks again to everyone for being here. And we didn't come close to discussing all of Gary's career. There's so much more of him to talk about, and I hope to learn more about him and what he did and watch more of his movies and things as I continue on. And remember to appreciate your loved ones and your friends, and have a lovely Friday. I'll see you guys later.
Everybody take care.
Bye-bye.
Resistance is sassy.
That's not the right video.
Well,
Wait, you must not go. I am for you, Mr. Watkins. I want to touch you.
Please continue, Mr. Scott.
But if the probe doesn't precisely match the magnetic flow, there'll be an explosion.
Please commence. I'll explain.
But there's no time. Push the button.
6 seconds. 5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1.
It's gone. The Enterprise, it's gone.
Learn all that is learnable.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create. Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.